don't see too many like me. Cause I am one of the reasons you do what you do. When you wanna be me instead of you. Cause I am still on beat, showing love to the streets. Come on, you know me, cause that's who I am.
.877. Once again, it's shelbyheating.com for all your heating and air needs.
Tom,
And
I want you to know that I'm the sheriff.
I didn't know you were the sheriff.
So y'all remember that while y'all in here today.
All
If
right,
you're
kid.
the sheriff, does that make Tom the deputy dog?
That must be. He was the dog.
Are you the deputy dog, Tom?
I reckon.
I thought I'd shorten everything. I mean, just kind of like,
Yep.
Since
know,
Jay
I
likes the
appreciate
Cowboys.
Ken.
Do
Thank
you want
JP.
to allow JP to label you, or do you have a name you would like to go by before he gets to you?
Yeah.
Thank you, JP.
I'd allow him to do it. So I'm curious
Oh,
what he
gosh.
come up with.
Well, Kevin, can I make a quick public service announcement before we
Sure.
get started? Just want to send thoughts and prayers to the family of Ron Green. He passed away, I believe, Thursday. He'd been ill for a while, so he'd been battling that for a while. But he did pass away on Thursday. He meant a lot to that community. Football stadium's named after him over there. That state championship back in '94, and if you get on social media and see all the posts that his former players are making, I mean, you could just tell the impact he had on that community. So he will be very, very sorely missed. There will be a ceremony for him, a celebration of his life. That will take place at Burns. The ceremony begins at 7:30. Anybody interested in being an honorary pallbearer because they were a former player or a former coach at Burns High School, you can go to the field house. The gates will open at 6:30. So once again, that 7 o'clock service begins at 7:30. Honorary pallbearers, you can arrive as early as 6:30. The gates will open at 6:30. And just want to send a thanks to, I know Will Beaver over at Burns High School has been one of the administrators, and the others are working on this to make sure that we can accommodate all those folks, because there's going to be a lot of people out there because he meant so much to the community. So we're saddened, but we're glad to have this opportunity to use the school to celebrate his life at the stadium that's named after him. So Sunday, 7:30, the ceremony, 6:30, if the gates will open.
Just trying to pull up an image there for you, Tom.
Yeah, I've seen that picture. There's some other pictures of him with his grandkids. You know, his grandson, Jay Guillermo, won a national championship at Clemson. He moved to Tennessee in high school and was Mr. Football in the state of Tennessee. Played for Clemson, won a national championship down there, and just a great football family. You know, just hate to lose him. I know he'd been ill, and I felt bad for him because he'd been ill for a while. But just his legacy will remain intact for years and years to come. People will talk about Ron Green and what he did for that program.
All right, thank you, Tom, for that. And we're going to get into some high school football here and later. Got a big segment coming up. Big day here on KTC Broadcasting. We've got in one weekend, basically, we've got to preview high school football week 1. And then we've also got to preview and review what's going on in the American Legion World Series here. So big show today. Plus, we'll talk about some Major League Baseball. We'll talk about some NFL. We'll talk NASCAR and more. We're going to start off this morning with the American Legion World Series, where we've had 6 games so far, and no team has won twice so far. Is that what I'm looking at right now? Is that correct, Ken?
Yeah, it looked
That's
like all the
correct.
teams were 1-1, and South Carolina had the honor and pleasure of South Carolina and Alabama. And I thought Alabama was going to jump all over them. I mean, South Carolina, I think, got run ruled their first game. I think it was like 12-2 by Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And then it started off a little shaky, but I think the pitcher Steins gave him 5 solid innings. And Simmons came in and finished the job, pitched the last 2 innings. And they had 2 brothers, Gibbs brothers. One had
Andy and what's his other one's name?
I can't remember. It was like Brandon and Brent. I think it's what it was. They both started with a B. But
Wasn't Andy and Barry?
no,
All right.
you're talking about. You threw me for a loop there. I know it's an inside joke, but it takes me a minute to catch up to the sarcasm. But
Nothing?
he
A lot of nothing go on.
okay. One had 2 doubles and 4 RBI, and the other
I can't.
had the best defensive play of the game. So, congratulations to South Carolina.
Well, Ken, so far you've been over there for a lot of them. You want to talk a little bit about how the tournament's going and how the games have gone, and where do you see any star players, anybody that stood out to you, and your overall basic thoughts on it, really?
Well, the first day, you had Tom mentioned South Carolina. We had 2 teams that got run ruled, and both of them in the Stars division. South Carolina losing big to Texas, and Alabama defeating Massachusetts 13-1, and so those were on day one. Those teams are all in the Stars division, and so yesterday all those teams are in action again. And going into yesterday, I thought, well, those 2 teams that blew the others out, pretty good shape. They play these other teams that lost big yesterday. They'd probably win. They'd be 2-0, and they'd punch their ticket. Well, as it turned out, neither one of them were able to win. As Tom said, South Carolina with a big win over that Troy, Alabama team.
I don't know the exact stats on it, Ken, but I don't know if there's ever been just 6 different winners in 6 games.
Yeah, I mean, right now, as we said, going into day 3, all 8 teams in the tournament have a chance to be in the semifinals. Nobody's in a situation where we can't. In the Stars divisions, they've all played 2 games. So right now you're in a situation, their next games they play, they win, and they're in. I mean,
Yeah.
South Carolina, who going into yesterday didn't look very good chances, well, today they play the team that got blown out, the other team that got blown out in the first day. They get to play Massachusetts. If they beat Massachusetts, South Carolina's in the semifinals.
Yeah. And Massachusetts team's been here before. That's been a pretty good program. The Idaho Falls team's been here before.
Yeah.
They're 2-time champion.
they
And
won.
they
Yeah.
lost their first game.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you just never know. I think on that first day, they're a little nervous. You know, you never know what's going to happen when you get out there and there's 4,000 or 5,000 people watching you play. Is
that not the
it's
greatest
different.
thing, though? That's what you want. I mean,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah,
probably
sure.
what Shelby and the whole crew and Legions are saying, hey, this is what we've wanted ever since we've done this. You know, everybody coming into Saturday, everybody still has a chance, all 8 teams. So,
Yeah. So it does make for interesting baseball. Go ahead, Ken.
One interesting thing that I don't know if you folks notice, South Carolina Club, they only have 13 players here. You know, it's an 18-man roster. Well, they had an 18-man roster as far as the official roster, but some of these guys that played in the regionals, they got 5 players that are not here. I understand they're in college, and because
Yeah.
of college, they
College
couldn't
rules.
be here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, the question is, will they be here today?
Yeah.
I don't know. Now, if they are, then I understand officially they can play, but I don't know what the situation is with the college and team, whether they're going to be here and play or not.
It might have started their college classes.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
that was it.
Yeah, and Camden, South Carolina is not that far. I mean, it's about 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
You know, and as a history guy, we know there was a battle down there. You know, that's why I know where the battleground is. But I would say, Ken, why could they not? You know, we're going to drive up to Shelby. We're going to take a couple hours, play a ball game, and then your next little obstacle is, okay, well, certainly they're not all in college at Camden, or some at Clemson, or some at Carolina, or
Yeah,
some at
I don't know.
Spartanburg,
Yeah.
or some, or some at Coastal Carolina. We don't know where they went to college, or are they out of state? We don't know where they went to college. How many of those guys could they get there? So that is an interesting dynamic to it. And that's why I really, Ken, I'm glad you brought that up, because I wouldn't mind seeing that push back a week and do it maybe just a little bit earlier, because so many schools are starting back earlier. But then how do you do that? Okay, we're going to start a week earlier. We're going to push the season back, but now you're into the end of high school baseball.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's hard to work everything out perfectly.
Yeah, it is.
But don't you run into something though? I mean, I know some colleges have it. Once you arrive, then they won't let you go back anyway. That's
some
part of the rule.
If they're in the baseball program.
Yeah.
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 Some are hard lined, and we've seen that
Yeah.
especially with some of the pitchers.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you sort of understand that. They
Yeah.
want to monitor those arms and stuff. Not as much maybe with the position players. But what's interesting is the other 7 teams there, they've got their 18 players, but Camden does not.
Yeah. So it will be, Ken, now that you said that, I'm going to have to check that out.
And that's a good question.
Who's going to show up?
Were
Yeah.
these guys starters, or were 3 out of the 5 starters?
Yeah, I don't know. I followed the Southeast region pretty closely. They had all the games on Sports Tone radio out of Asheboro. I listened to a lot of those games. I do know a couple last names of the players for Camden that played in that regional and they're not here. One of the kids' name was Fleming. I know he was one of the position players in the lineup. I can't remember all of them, but I know there's probably a couple players that certainly could be helping them.
Yeah, albeit, you guys make the good point. Once you're a comeback, you can't go back and play any other ball. But if I'm a coach, you got a chance to go play on national television, and I mean, it's hard to take that. That's hard to take that experience away from you.
Here's sort of a chance of a lifetime. You're going to tell us getting up, you can't do it because we're hard and fast on this rule. I'm like you. You got to have a little bit of give in there.
Yeah, I would say, like, we're all speculating. We don't know the absolute 100% of what these kids have come back. But if this is a World Series, you're a college kid, so this is your only year. You're done. You can come back as a freshman in college and play 1 year, but then you're done. You'll never play American Legion baseball again. So I don't know why you would, but at the same time, I've been around a lot of coaches in my day, Terry.
Oh yeah,
and we know they can vary on their tolerance for certain things.
And it didn't look like it was a last minute surprise, because the program that the World Series prepares with the teams and everything, in that program they only had 13 names
They're
as
probably
well.
not coming.
So they're probably not coming.
Ken, is there a rule about reporting? Like when you show up, you have to report with this many players and you can't add any more? That may be the deal. I don't know if that's the case.
According to what I was told last night, the World Series doesn't have an issue if they come and play, because they were on the official 18-man roster that had to be in by July the 24th. There's some deadline date every year.
I mean, they could have been anything. The reason they was out.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
So the fact they didn't go through orientation the first day or anything like that doesn't inhibit them as far as coming in and playing.
Yeah,
if they still can do that.
The only way you could expedite things, in my opinion, is if I don't know what these playoff series are. Most of them are 5 games, right? These series that within the region, within the state.
You end up playing 5 usually.
I mean, why not play 3? I mean, I guess sometimes they say that's not enough games to determine who the better team was. Better than 1 if you play 3.
And they have the rules that if you have a regional, you got to have 8 teams.
Yeah.
There. I mean, they had here's the situation we're talking about South Carolina, and also the same situation for the Nebraska team. Neither one of those teams won their state championship. They were runner-ups, but they were able to participate in the regional. And we're saying, why did you have 2 teams from the same state participate? That one of them wasn't the host of the regional. And my understanding, what I was told, is a state has to have so many teams in their state tournament to actually be a state tournament winner and get represented in the regional. Yeah. And some state in the Southeast regional, don't know which one.
Georgia.
Well, no, Georgia had a team in there.
Did they?
They had a team
because I've heard they don't.
Have many
Legion teams. Yeah,
but they did have a team in the regional. But I don't know which state didn't. But that state didn't qualify as far as having enough teams to get there. And they said, "Well, how do you determine which state gets the extra team?" They said the state that had the most teams in that state that are participating in the regional.
Yeah.
And it actually was North Carolina, but North Carolina already had 2 there because you got the host team
Yeah.
and the state champion. So they had to go to South Carolina, and that's how Camden got in.
Okay.
Rock Hill was actually the state champion. And in the Southeast Regional, it came down. Championship game, Rock Hill and Camden. Camden beat them.
Yeah.
Same thing with Nebraska. They were in there, and they were a runner-up state champion team. And they came down to, in their regional championship game was against the other Nebraska team, and they won that one as well. So similar stories there with both of those.
You know what, Ken? And I would also like to look at the map because, correct me if I'm wrong, Virginia has a team in the World Series.
They do.
South Carolina does.
Yes.
And Alabama.
Yes.
How are they drawing this map? Because I don't know, my geography's not real good, but I would say that you could argue Virginia, South Carolina, and Alabama would all be from the Southeast. I think they put us with the Mid-Atlantic regional.
They moved us.
Well, they did that, and then they changed it back to with the Southeast again.
Okay.
And within those regions, Terry, you know this. They switch teams sometimes. You may be in one region this year, next year we're going to push you over here.
So Virginia was in that Mid-Atlantic. They won that, and then South Carolina won the Southeast, and then I guess Alabama won the South, like the Mid-South. Or
yes, I think Mid-South is what it was.
Okay, because it's just I don't know whether I think it's good for the series because all those teams are close, but I think it may be. It could be a good thing because there's so many Legion teams in this area of the country, to get, all right, well, since they have so many teams, it's good to have more representation. The only one is like Georgia. One year, a guy told me there was only a couple of Legion teams in the whole state.
Oh, yeah, I understand. There's only a handful.
There's only a handful of teams in the whole state.
Some of them's got less than that. Some of them's got Legion teams, and some of them don't have but 3.
Yeah, they don't have many Legion teams
in the whole state.
Yeah.
And think about it. If you don't have many, then think about your schedule. I mean, you're probably traveling a long way.
You know what the Georgia team did? They played weekend tournaments and said, we're getting ready to play the other team in the state of Georgia to see who goes to the regional, but we don't have enough games, so we play in these weekend tournaments with our Legion team. So, I think it's good that the states with the most teams definitely, we need to make sure that they have a chance to be represented because I guess if you're the only Legion team, like 2 in the state, and one of you wins, I mean, how is that? How do you put that on par with a team at 1? And this state has 80 Legion teams, So I guess they know what they're doing when they draw the map. But I thought it was interesting. A Virginia team, a South Carolina team, and an Alabama team. All, Alabama, it's a little ride down to Alabama. But it's good at, 2 border states that, have sent delegations. So that's good for attendance. It's good. It's good for attendance.
And you have good attendance locally, but you have a lot of fans coming in supporting these teams.
Yeah.
I was at the game the other day, and gentleman and lady sitting in front of me, and got talking to them, and they're from Nebraska. And I said, "So y'all came in?" She said, "Yeah, 17 hours. They drove. They didn't fly. They drove from Nebraska 17 hours."
I guess it depends on how many you're taking.
Yeah,
I mean, if you loading up the crew, you got 4 or 5. Well, plane tickets start adding up quick. So, even though gas is expensive, if I had 3 or more, you might as well drive. I guess you'd make a 2-day.
Yeah, it was 2 days. So they went about 12 hours first day, and then the next day, not quite as bad to get here.
Stop somewhere. I guess what I would do is I'd find me some.
I mean, would you not? I mean, I understand a lot of people want to get here quick, Tom, but if I had the opportunity of being a John Madden where I could just drive everywhere I went, I mean, not just the point of being in the air, not seeing stuff, but you could see everything when you're driving. I mean, a lot of places you can stop along the way. Yeah. Just give yourself,
And we're talking about the number of teams. I saw somewhere where Minnesota had like 348 teams. They just have a tremendous amount of teams in Minnesota as far as Legion ball.
Yeah, like I said, depends on your state. How big Legion ball is there. But I am surprised about Georgia, but I think there's some other organizations that do some ball down there.
Yeah.
And then the kids would rather play, seemed like 20, 25 years ago, summer ball was Legion ball. You didn't have all this other stuff.
And we were talking about, they're giving away the 50-50, and a couple times yesterday was over $500. And Danny Aker. I was talking to him. He looked at Troy Thomas and said, "Troy, you remember when we used to give away $1,000?"
Oh,
And that's how big the attendance was 25 years ago.
Yeah, 25 years ago. You better get there early if Cherville's playing Shelby. Not as much as it used to be, but because you got some other stuff going on. But what I liked about Legion Ball as opposed to some others, now I know some others play tournament. All right, well, you just entered the tournament. Now you have a chance to win the tournament. But in Legion Ball, you have to win you have to win like your division, then your region, then your state, then your United States region, and then the World Series. Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of the way it should be. Other than, well, we went down there, we just played in the tournament, we won it. Well, you got to qualify for this one. So I think it makes it real. I think that's what makes Legion Ball special.
And there's some discussion about Randolph County, who has hosted the regional tournament, Southeast region. It was Mid-Atlantic one year, but they still hosted it. It's been, 7 or 8 years in a row that they've been doing that?
Yeah.
And you get to participate in that tournament if you're hosting it. And pretty good advantage for those. I mean, they have usually a good team, a good season, but they point to that regional. If we win the regional, we're going to World Series. And, of course, they went 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
Back, at 18, 19, and 20, or 17, 18, and 19. And some folks, well, that's not really fair, but I think maybe they ought to switch off, not have somebody have the regional for so many years in a row, maybe 2 or 3, and then have it somewhere else, because it is an advantage to do that.
Oh, definitely.
But understand, to do a regional, it takes a lot of support, money, a lot of volunteers. It's not an easy thing.
Yeah. Just the field maintenance. I know a lot of these schools more and more are going to the turf, so they don't have to do that. I just don't think this part of the country is good for that because it's too doggone hot in the summertime. But if you're going to hold a regional tournament, you got every game. Somebody's got to you got to drag it, you got to wet it, you got to paint the lines, you got to do the ball, you got to do the plate. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is.
It's a lot of work to do that, and you're not doing that once. Sometimes you're doing that 2 or 3 times in a day. So you're exactly right, Ken. That's a lot of work.
And it's a lot of work, a lot to put on. Somebody said, well, it's not fair. Well, you got to understand, first of all, you got to be able to do it, make it financially feasible, as well as being able to do a good job with it. I mean, and a lot of places can't do that.
Yeah, that's what you tell them. It's like, well, it's not fair. Okay, we'll put it on. y'all do it if y'all want to do it. And then once they realize how much work it is, I think they change their tune.
One thing I want to say about this World Series this year, folks, you couldn't have ordered from the Chamber of Commerce any better weather. We had a threat the first day that we might have some showers. It missed us. It rained like the Dickens in other places, but it missed the stadium there. And it's cool out there. It's not hot.
Today,
great, just great weather.
It's rare that a cold front will push this far south in July and August, but that's what happened. Because they say a cool front pushed its way through, and that did trigger off a few showers. And I saw there was last night, Ken, you're exactly right. There's a big spot on the radar. Severe thunderstorm warning for Lincoln County, Gaston, and Mecklenburg. And it just went diagonally straight down, missed us. Now I saw some heat lightning out in the distance. Yeah. And I was worried last night. I'm like, I see it out in the distance. And the people from a network I won't mention were didn't know what it was. And finally I came out there. I said, I saw that heat lightning out there. And they were like, I told you that was lightning out there. I was like, yeah, you could see it out there.
You should have told them that was where the space aliens come in.
Yeah. That's what I should have told them.
We just kept it a secret all these years.
What I should have told
it was strange because he just kept doing it often. And I was standing there looking at it. I said, is there a searchlight out there? I said, no, it's too inconsistent to be the same thing every time. I said, it's lightning.
It's lightning. But they let them play. And I'm glad they let them play because could you imagine, okay, we're in the 7th. It's a 2-run game. We'll come back and finish this one tomorrow, boys. That would just be awful. So I'm glad they were able to get it in. And like I said, good base. The game before ours, Ken, didn't you call that one?
No, Danny and Matt Chapman did that one.
Hour and a half.
Yeah, that was the quickest game. And all of them have been fairly quick, but that was really a quick one.
And I said, what was the run rule? I said, no.
3-1.
There was no walks, no hit batters. Everybody played good defense. And what I saw in my game, I think that's the difference between the series team and some of the other teams. everybody wants to hit. Got all these, facilities set up to teach kids to hit, and I get it. People pay to watch hits. But the defense in these games, as what I've seen, has really been phenomenal.
I agree. It's been outstanding defense. We've seen some unbelievable plays, and I agree with you. That play by the second baseman last night, Brent Gibbs, was the best play I've seen in the series, and that's saying something because they've been a lot of good defensive plays.
That was
the best one.
How about those pickoff moves?
Oh yeah,
Terry. If I told you before a game you're going to get 3 guys picked off at first base, you'd probably say we ain't winning.
Oh, I'd have bet my house and everything. Yeah.
They got 3 guys picked off at first and a guy caught stealing at second.
Yeah.
And still won
the game. They did.
I was like, that. I said I was trying to be nice, because you got to watch what you say, especially people down in Camden on the radio. I said, I think the manager and the first base coach may have a little conversation at dinner tonight to discuss what's going on over there. But they showed a lot of resiliency, man. You usually don't see, because it's such a momentum killer when you get picked off. God, it's just like the worst thing in the world. That's why some umpires don't want to call it. They're scared to call it. But it's 3 times.
Getting picked off has got to be, I would say, aggravating as a coach is what you're taught.
Yeah.
Because as someone who stole bases, like, I got picked off once that I know of in high school, and Devin Lowry did. And it was my fault because, of course, it was my fault. But he threw it when I was taking my lead.
Yeah.
And I crossed my feet, and I just happened to look down because I was looking for where I was going to plant my foot. And he stepped off the mound as soon as I glanced down, and he got me good. But that's the only time I've never been picked once I get set, because I know how far I am. In first movement, if I'm still in first movement, I'm gone. If I'm not still in first movement, if he moves anything else, I'm going back. So getting picked off blows my mind, other than something where you accidentally do something like I just got crossed up and being stupid. I didn't even think he was even looking that way. And before I even took 2 steps, he threw over there, which was silly. I guess he knew I was going to try to steal very soon. But
what I noticed is when the left-hander's on the mound, they're real cautious over there.
Yeah.
But with the right-hander, not so much. And some of these right-handers got real quick, good moves, and they'll get you.
Well, see, I would rather steal against a lefty because, like what I was just saying, because you're supposed to go in first movement. So cause he does that high leg kick. If he does pick me off, I'm 10 steps down the road before he lands it. So that's why I bet Larry was a righty. The righty would pick me off better than a lefty, because if I knew I wasn't going against lefty, I ain't even going to get near. I'm just going to take 2 steps and stare at him.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not moving, so don't even throw it over here, because I don't feel like getting dirty. But a couple of things y'all talked about a minute ago. The regional thing is okay for someone to host it. How about not giving them an automatic bid? That's the question.
Yeah, but what's your incentive for hosting
money?
Hosting it
Money.
If you're not going to let you get in there.
This is what
should be the money. It shouldn't be to
this
let
is what
me
I
in.
this
If
is
you
what
see
I
it-
say, and I think Ken makes a good point. So who's going to do the field? The home team's coaching staff.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're going to do
Okay.
all of it.
But you have to make a decision. Are you hosting it to make money, or are you hosting it to get your team in?
Both.
If the reason is to get your team in, then it should be spread around to everybody. If it's to make money, let you guys make money. If your team makes it, congratulations.
Well, you can make more money if your team's in
Well,
it.
obviously you
It's
can,
gonna
Tom.
boost this again.
Tom, I see your argument. I'm not saying I don't understand your argument. I'm saying that's not fair to anybody.
Oh, I agree. I think it should be, if you got 8 districts, then it should be spread around. But now here's my problem. If you go to one and they decline it and it goes on to the next one, and, because some of them are going to decline it on account of volunteers. If you don't have people to come and help you, there's no way you can have it. So some teams, some little districts are going to pass it up every year. So
Understand all that. My point is that maybe they shouldn't get the automatic bid and earn their way. Maybe an automatic bid to the state. I don't know, but if you the regionals, no, because again, Ken, can you not do this? Now, and this ties into the other thing. So once they started the junior B programs, and you had to get the younger guys in, they want to get these younger guys in. Well, then they added a year to the older guys, so now you've got the college guys. So you can play a college team. I'm looking at one of the rosters. Jason looks at one of the rosters. It says all freshmen on it. He said, "How did all freshmen make the World Series?" I said, "Jason, that's college." He said, "This ain't American Legion baseball." And that was his point, is that how can you have a whole team and all they do is they go to the community college, That's their residence. They rent an apartment there. And then now you're part of the American Legion program that you're closest to, Randolph County. So what I'm saying is that's not – so Cherville's over here got 4 high school kids. Everybody complains, well, Cherville recruits from 5 teams. Well, these other teams are just nothing but college freshmen now because you added that extra year. It used to be you got maybe 1 or 2 kids on your team. Mason got to play an extra year. Justin McLemore got to play an extra year here at Cherville because you had the late birthday.
Yeah.
Not because you're in college another year and playing at ECU, then now I'm going to come back and play. So they expanded it to get more kids. I get it. But I think it backfired in that now the high school kids are doing the travel ball and not doing the Legion, the good ones, and because there's nothing but college kids playing the Legion, the World Series kids.
And it's still,
real quick, Tim, Ken, I'm so sorry. So in North Carolina, you were talking about Georgia. How many teams are in North Carolina? Isn't there like 60 teams?
Yeah, something like that.
So to get out of Area 4 is tougher to make the World Series than most states. So Randolph got a beeline to that and then, Tom, this is what they do. So like Ken said earlier, well, we don't got to win there. We don't got to win a single game in our area. We don't got to win a single game in the state. We can go 0-25 with our backup players, bring in the 3 studs from the local community college for regional weekend. We're in the World Series, boys. That's all they have to do. 3 studs from the community college, and they win, and they're in the World Series. That's why Randolph should not. I don't care how many hosts they do it. Should not have, with the rules they are. They're not recruiting high school kids now. They can bring in any stud from this college that lives near them. I don't know the exact rules on it, but that's what they're doing. And then they can go to the World Series. And that's why they went 3 straight times.
But all this,
not because they got great baseball kids growing up in Randolph County.
This is all the last 25 years. The reason why you do that is because with the increase of the weekend ball, and you know how that works. Well, we're not on vacation this week, so we'll play. We're not playing this week because we're on vacation. And you kind of pick and choose what you want to do. And back in the day, you didn't do that. Are you on this team or not? You know, and if
again,
they don't do that anymore.
Again,
they
those
don't
kids
do that
will be
anymore.
16 and 17 also.
Yeah.
Not 18 and 19. Whatever they're in.
But it'd be the same
college.
thing. Are you on the team or not? I mean, that's
right,
kind of the way
what
it
you're
was.
talking about earlier is just because they go there, some of them might. Now you've got other guys going to different colleges and living in different places, and it's all a mess with that to me. And then you got people showing up. So those are my 2 issues on the age and the regional things that. Well, I the only big things I have issues with. Other than that, as far like I said, the tournament's been great so far. The weather's gonna be good today. We got 7 games today and 6 games. 6 games today and tomorrow. Right? 1,
yes.
4, and 5.
Yeah, 3 each. Yes.
All right. Today's 1, 4, and 7:30. Tomorrow's 1, 4, and 7. Today, Virginia and Idaho play the first game at 1. Michigan and Nebraska at 4, and then Massachusetts and South Carolina tonight at 7:30, and then Sunday starting at 1 o'clock, Texas and Alabama at 1, Virginia and Nebraska at 4, and Michigan and Idaho at 7 p.m. Of course, Monday games, the semifinals 4 and 7, and then the championship game Tuesday 7 p.m. Ken, if you had to pick a winner right now, put $1 down. Who is going to be the champion?
Oh my goodness, I hadn't
You
seen
got a
enough.
1 in 8 chance. 15 cents on it. Or 12 cents.
I'm going to go with
12.
the. Right now, I'm going to go with the Nebraska team.
Nebraska.
That did get a win over the defending, 2-time defending champions Idaho.
Well, Terry, you wagered your house a minute ago. You care to put $1 on picking a team on this one?
I would take Idaho.
Idaho for the repeat.
Yep.
Speaking of how does those Idaho
You
boys,
can have
speaking
a
of
bad
growing
game
guys
and then
probably
come
having
back.
college players, you think they're growing all those baseball players in that county up in Idaho?
Well, they probably are. But now you make a good point about the college guys, but it still goes by age. So you can be a college player and be over age and not eligible.
But I will I will make this point. You're not playing baseball in college if you're not a good baseball player.
Well, I agree with you. I agree with you.
That 19-year-old college baseball player is better than that 17-year-old or 18-year-old junior high school player.
And just to talk about locally, Post 100 had 2 players that were seniors in high school this year that's college eligible. One's going to play at college. Joe Webb's actually going to play at Catawba College.
Yeah, he is.
And he is age eligible to come back and pitch again next year, which is good. So Cherville's got 17 of their 18 players back because so they have a very young team, but I know what you're talking about.
He gets drafted, he won't be back.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't think he's that good. But some teams, they do. They're loaded with college players, college pitchers, and there's a deadline where you got to freeze your. You could have. They don't really check. You probably shouldn't have all this, but you could have 30 people on your team. There's a deadline this year. I think it was August 24th or 25th. You've got to nail down these are my 18. But it's just like you said, Kevin. You wait to that date and you go, okay, who do we want in the regionals and the play? You know, they nail down 18, get those names on that roster. And as long as they meet all the other criteria, they're good to go.
Yeah.
All right. Tom, you got a dollar on anybody?
Well, I've only seen 2 teams, but let's go hometown. Let's go Camden, South Carolina. Plus, I want to say it's 102.7 Cool FM that we partner with down there. So I guess I've kind of adopted them as my home team. They're the closest. So Camden, South Carolina takes home the series.
Okay, so that's American Legion coverage for today. This Saturday, and of course, next week we'll have a review of everything that happened next Saturday. Again, listen to every game on WHS 101.5 FM and 1390 AM in Shelby. Here in Gaston County, 92.9 FM, 1590 AM WCSL. Today and again tomorrow, 1, 4, and 7, American Legion Baseball World Series. All right, JP, you ready in there? What do you got in there?
What do you mean?
We'll be right back on KTCBroadcasting.com.
The dog days of summer are here, and the folks at Shelby Heated and Air can help keep you cool and save you up to $750 in discounts on quality Carrier heated and air conditioning systems. Plus, if you need service, ask for their $55 radio service special. Just mention this radio ad and get your service call for just $55. Call Shelby Heated and Air, 704-487-7877. 1990 Eves Road in Shelby. Online at shelbyheating.com. See their page at whatsuppchopper.com and like them on Facebook too.
The Lincolnton Tag Office now offers North Carolina wildlife vessel registration. Make it a one-stop shop for your truck, trailer, and boat at 2683 East Main Street in Lincolnton in the Carolina Shopping Center. Hours of business, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 704-735-0018.
It's the biggest sale of the year, maybe the biggest sale ever at the Great Outdoors in Cherryville. It's their fall sale. 2 big days, August 26th and 27th. Specials include Moultrie Trail Camera Micro 42i with batteries. Regular $89.99, now $69.99. A big Sawyer 10x42 Buckmaster's binocular. Regular $119.99, now $99.99. Take 25% off all Crimson Trace scopes in stock. And Allen rifle and shotgun cases start at $19.99. Don't miss August 26th and 27th, the big 2-day August fall sale at the Great Outdoors, Highway 150 East in Cherryville, right behind McDonald's. Online at teamgreatoutdoors.com. Mention this radio ad. Yes, mention this radio ad. Did you hear me? Mention this radio ad and take 10% off your bill at the Highway 29 Grill on Highway 29 south of Kings Mountain. Yes, just mention this radio ad and get 10% off your bill. And the food is great. Great home cooking with daily specials, and seniors get senior menu pricing all day long. The Highway 29 Grill, 1842 South Battleground Avenue, Highway 29 south of Kings Mountain. Just look for the Lighthouse. Like them on Facebook too, and mention this radio ad and take 10% off.
Plumbing problems? Well, if you're not an expert plumber, then we invite you to call the Expert Plumbers. That's Olmsted Plumbing in Forest City. Just call 828-245-7302. Recommended since 1973. From faucets to sinks to toilets, from sewer and drains to well pumps, from dishwashers to disposals to bathroom remodeling, residential and commercial, new homes too. Don't let your plumbing problems drive you plumb crazy. Call Olmsted Plumbing in Forest City, 828-245-7302, or visit the website at olmstedplumbing.com.
It's time to come out and play at the newly renovated Lincoln Country Club. Since 1946, the Lincoln Country Club has been challenging golfers. Ask about special membership opportunities, enjoy the new swimming pool, and the restaurant just can't be beat. Practice your drive and know the driving range too. For your tee time, call 704-735-1382 for the Lincoln Country Club. 2052 Country Club Road in Lincoln, and online at lincolncountryclub.net.
If you're looking into making home improvements this summer, contact Carolina Federal Credit Union in Cherryville about a home equity line of credit. Rates start as low as 4.00% APR. Contact Carolina Federal Credit Union today to apply. Online at carolinafcu.org, located at 1200 East Church Street in Cherryville. APR means annual percentage rate, federally insured by NCUA.
And we're back on Saturday Morning Sports Talk with Kevin and the gang. Tom, why don't you tell the people about Shelby Heating and Air?
This is brought to you by Shelby Heating and Air. Give them a call, 704-487-7877. Check them out online, shelbyheating.com, for all your heating and air needs. Once again, that's 704-487-7877 for Shelby Heating and Air. I just want to thank Terry Reinhardt for bringing in breakfast as well from Mitchum's Kitchen, who feeds us every Saturday morning. I had a bacon, egg, and cheese on toast. Terry, what'd you have?
That's what I had. Same thing.
Ken?
I had something similar. I had bacon and egg on toast.
All right.
No cheese for him. I had a sausage, egg, and cheese.
And JP, what'd you eat?
I haven't eaten yet, but it looks like a sausage biscuit.
All right, sausage biscuit. Terry, you want to give the phone number for Mitchum's?
Yeah, 704-276-1155.
And I think they're serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yes.
Are they open 7 days a week?
Yes.
Okay, so Mitchum's Kitchen. Check them out. We appreciate you supporting our sponsors. And now, Kevin, take it away.
Dun, 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 dun. I wasn't prepared for that, but anyway.
You weren't prepared for that. I'm sorry.
I thought we should have got some music for that.
I'm sorry.
It's high school football season.
That's right.
Terry Reinhardt, JP, Tommy, Jamboree night last night, Cleveland County and Lincoln County. Ken, first, did you say you had scores? Do you know them?
I had scores from Lincoln County. They had all four county schools in action last night. Bessemer City playing Lincoln. Lincoln won that one 21-0. You had West Lincoln against Ashbrook, and West Lincoln won 7-6. You had North Lincoln and Bandage. North Lincoln won that 13-12. And East Lincoln Big Northwest Cabarrus 14-0. So all Lincoln County teams were successful in the Jamboree.
4-0 last night.
I don't have any details except the scores, but that's
hard to tell from a jamboree, though. Usually in those jamborees, a lot of your starters are playing because it's kind of spotlight and they want to kind of see what they got. So I would imagine a lot of starters played in all those games. But good win for West Lincoln there, Terry, defeating Ashbrook.
Yeah, West Lincoln. I mean, they, since Coach Sane come along and then Coach Ponder to succeed him, in the weight room is a huge thing. Makes yourself very strong. If you're going to play West Lincoln, you better be very strong up front on your offense and defensive guys. But you know, they've changed the outlook of football at West Lincoln since them guys have come along. So, I mean, you know, it's not one of those things where a lot of your players come and say, well, I'm not going to play football because we never win here. You know, I'm going to wait on basketball or baseball. It's where more guys are coming out, and they're getting good guys to come out that are coming into the area that have been successful football players. So, and even your quick guys in the school are making sure they play. So, it's all turned around, and I'm proud for what they're doing and how they're succeeding. So, West Lincoln for the last, I'd say 4 or 5 years have been pretty steady.
And last year they won what, 9-10 games?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And from what I've seen, the folks that's doing the predicting are saying in that conference, Maiden's the number 1 team. Most people say number 2 is West Lincoln.
Yeah, I've got them picked the 2nd or 3rd. I mean, you know, because, I mean, us and Maiden, I mean, we got blown out last year when we got to the playoffs by Maiden. But, you know, for the first game of the year when we played them, we was in every snap all the way to the end of the game. So, you know, I mean, they know that that's what they got to look up to. And in West Lincoln, when they come in every year, nobody's going to predict them to win it. So, you know, hey, go out there and give the best you got and see what we do at the end of the year. But, you know, should be another successful season for West Lincoln, but I've got them like 2nd or 3rd in the conference, you know. I mean, I don't want to say they're number 1. I should since I go there, but I don't want to put too much in their backpack. Hey, go out and play every week and win every game that you can.
Well, and we'll start there in that conference as far as schedule this week. Bandy's, Bunker Hill, East Burke, Lincoln and Maiden, Newton Conover, West Caldwell, and West Lincoln are in that conference. Let's see. Upcoming games this Friday. Bandy's at St. Stephen's. And then we'll have, let me pull up our KTC schedule back for our folks watching at home. Bandy's at St. Stephen's will open up week 1. South Caldwell at West Caldwell. Bunker Hill at Stuart Kramer. North Lincoln at West Lincoln. I know we don't know much about these teams, but let's give a quick thought on maybe who might be the favorites in these games. I know picking winners first week is kind of tough, but we're going to pick a few here as we go through. But look, quick thoughts, Terry and Ken on the Bandy St. Stephen's matchup. Bandy's been up and down a little bit. St. Stephen's not been too good the past few years, but where does this stand going into the start of the season, you guys think?
Well, if you ask me, and I don't
That's
know
what I
what
just
Ken,
did.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, this Bandy's, I would say, should be predicted to win this.
Okay.
I mean, I will go with their offensive line and the running backs that they have. A good, steady running attack is what they bring. St. Stephen's, it's one of those squads that, you'll go 1 out of every 8 years that they're good. So, I don't know what they've got and
2
how
and
they're
7
going to.
last year.
Yeah, that's
St.
what I'm
Stephen's,
saying.
yeah.
I mean, so I'm going to pick Bandy's to win this one.
All right. Ken, the next matchup, South Caldwell and West Caldwell. What is South Caldwell? The Spartans? Is that what they are?
Yep.
Okay, got that. I was trying to think off my head, though, what that logo was. And the Warriors.
That's it.
I would go with South Caldwell on this one. West Caldwell is usually it's been struggling the last few years, so I think South Caldwell would be the favorite for this one.
And a lot more athletes to pick from.
Yep.
Now,
From South Carolina.
Now, a little bit,
Attendance.
we talked a little bit last week, Terry, about this team. How about the Bunker Hill Bears coming off a 10-1 season? Now they'll be at Stuart Kramer, who has been, they've had some good, they've shown some toughness and some big wins, but they've not been able to finish it off in that conference. What do you got with the Bears and the Storm here?
Well, the Bears will go to the Storm, and that'll be the end of it. So,
The end of
Stuart
what?
Kramer will win this game. I don't know whether Bunker Hill can I mean, it's another one of those teams that has, theirs is a
They had
little
a good
bit
season
better.
last year, right?
Yeah, they
that's
did,
they were
but theirs
10-1.
is like a lot different from St. Stephen's. I mean, maybe them 1 out of every 5 years that they have a good squad, and I don't know whether they can go to Stuart Kramer and win, so I'm going to take Stuart Kramer.
All right. So Ken, over in the other Lincoln County, we got one more matchup in that county, and we'll work over in the other one. North Lincoln at West Lincoln to start the season. Knights and Rebels. Terry, how'd that game go last year? And what are we looking for this year?
Well, it's one of those games going to come down to the end. Every year it does. I think the matchup's even for the total, and they are at West Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm going to give the home crowd the visit and West Lincoln to win on my side, Ken. I don't know how you look at it, but two great coaching staffs on both sides.
Yeah, I think it's just a toss-up game, and North Lincoln did lose, I think, their best player, the quarterback, who's also was the linebacker on that team. They're going to be well coached and well, but I'm with Terry. West Lincoln, they're going to play their style and option offense for North Lincoln. I'm going to go with the home team as well. I'm going to go with West in a close game.
And West Lincoln will just beat you to death.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's lined up.
And in that offense, you never know who's got the ball. I mean, I watched them maybe a year and a half ago during that spring season. It was like they had about 4 or 5 different people carry the ball, and you didn't know who was going to get the football. So
I mean, don't get me wrong, Mason Avery, the leading rusher for us from last year, he's back, and I know he's going to get the bulk of the load. But, you got a few other guys that's on the team that can make a difference. So, I mean, West Lincoln's one of them squads. If they have 2 guys that they can count on every week, and there for a few years we had 2 guys in the backfield, both of them over 1,000 yards. If we can come back to that without Mason having to carry the load every game, West Lincoln's going to be hard to beat.
Well, all right, I'll get to that. Terry, what is the over/under on number of passes in that game between North Lincoln and West Lincoln?
North Lincoln's probably going to pass more than
So
West
3 to
Lincoln.
2. 5-4. Now, is 10 the over under? I'm talking about combined overall.
This
between
is
the
what
two
I'm
teams.
gonna say. 6 for North Lincoln and 2 for West.
All right.
There you go.
I would say the under 10 was combined.
If
was
you're
what I'd
excited
go.
about watching the Newt Rockney Option Bowl, check out that game on next Friday night. There's not going to be much passing, probably. All right, over in the others in North Lincoln's conference, they have East Lincoln, Ford, Hickory, North Iredale, St. Stephen's, Statesville, and West Iredale. And Statesville, of course, won the conference last year, and I think they ended up being 2 or 3 on our power poll. I'll have to pull that back up from last week, but East Lincoln, Ford, Hickory, North Iredale, North Lincoln, St. Stephen's, Statesville, and West Iredale. In our Lincoln County Game of the Week, we'll start there this week, guys. You can listen Lincoln County Game of the Week on our LincolnCounty.com YouTube page, also on LincolnCounty.com. David Potter and Jason Sane will have that. High Brighton at East Lincoln. Ken, and I've heard that East Lincoln's got some high hopes, maybe, in High Brighton used to be a tough matchup. It seemed like they didn't have quite a good team last year. Is East Lincoln going to give Statesville a run this year in this conference?
I think they will. East has got a really good defense led by Ben Cutter, who was going to West Virginia. But they've got some other guys that on that team. Understanding the Jamboree last night that they were dominant on defense. I don't know how good a opponent it was against Northwest Cabarrus, but they also have some athletes and options on offense. I'll have to go with East Lincoln. I think they will compete with Statesville in that league.
All right, Terry, you got any other thoughts on that? You think the Mustangs or are they? Is Statesville the favorite? I guess. Say yes, Ken. Are they still the favorite?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
Statesville's still. I think they got to be the favorite.
Okay, I just want to see exactly where they were right there. Is North in the running there at third, or is one of these other teams more likely? Is Hickory back again, Terry?
No, I don't think Hickory's going to be back for a while.
Okay.
I just think right now they're mediocre, 6-5, 5-6 team for this coming year. I still think East Lincoln can give a lot of people a lot of thoughts for this year. I mean, they should be pretty strong. North Lincoln, I mean, it all depends on how they kick off. I think if North Lincoln gets us loses to West Lincoln, I don't know whether North Lincoln can rebound with the group that they've got. I'm looking for North Lincoln to finish in the year at 6-5, 7-4
Okay.
for the total year. I mean, that might be good enough to get them in a playoff run, but
They're in 3A.
yeah.
Now, not 2A. Everybody's got to remember that. Excuse me. So, Bandy's and St. Stephen's, we talked about that earlier. High Brighton, East Lincoln, North Iredale, South Iredale, they'll also play. Won't predict that one. It's none of our teams. Alexander Central and Hickory, Carson and Statesville, West Iredale and Lake Norman, and Ford host that maiden powerhouse there in that first game. Has Ford got a chance, Terry?
No.
They had a good year about 2-3 years ago.
They
just
did.
haven't been able to put.
I just think in that one conference, though, with Statesville in it, Statesville has so many athletes in their building. I mean, when you, it's hard for me to say all these other teams can square up when you go look at Statesville and athletes is a big thing. I don't care how you play. If you are gifted with fleet of foot, you're going to be in every game. I mean, you can close off stuff. And that's one thing when I always go back to Lincoln when they were so good that, you might have a break and play up the middle and it looked like you're going for 20 yards, but they would cover it and you'd only get 4 or 5. That's a big difference. And Statesville.
All right. The Lincoln County Game of the Week, we're going to do that now and talk about that. We talked about it there for a second. We had High Brighton at East Lincoln. And so, Terry, I'll let you read the schedule there, and I'll scroll down as we get on further down.
Lincoln County.
Yes, sir.
Okay. On 8/19, we will have, like it was just discussing, High Brighton at East Lincoln. Good start there, I think, for East Lincoln. I'm going to predict them to win that. But then on next week, 8/26, Forest View goes back to East Lincoln. A doubleheader for them on back-to-back weeks. On 9/2, you will come Ferty Ford at West Lincoln for the Hog Hill bowl game that a trophy does transfer from one school to the other. On 9/9, it will be an off week for everybody in that county on that station. And on 9/16, you will have Statesville at North Lincoln, a big game there for North Lincoln if they can get through the first 3 or 4 weeks. On 9/23, it will be Newton Conover at Lincoln. On 9/30 will be Bunker Hill at West Lincoln. On 10/7, it will be West Caldwell at Lincoln. 10/14, Lincoln at East Burke. 10/21, East Burke at West Lincoln. And to finish out the season on 10/28 will be North Lincoln at East Lincoln.
All right, that's your Lincoln County schedule. Now, the very last one may be switched to the West Lincoln game depending on other circumstances. So we'll let you guys know about that, but that's 11 weeks away. So that's the only note that I have on Lincoln County game of the week right now. So, guys, let's move over to Rutherford County, where we'll have Paul Foster and Jonathan Bland and highlights on Twitter from Tanner Halbert. So I'm looking forward to seeing Tom. We're going to see about 2,000 yards of Marquise McCombs this year on Twitter, probably. And Terry, I'll tell you what, I don't know if you've seen any of the highlights of McCombs, but you know how, like, we compare runners. You know how we saw Keyone Pryor. A lot of us said it looks like little Barry Sanders running around, the way he would stop and change directions. Marquise McCombs, Emmitt Smith. His style, when I show him to you, I'll show him to me another time, but you'll see that. You know how Emmitt uses his offhand a lot to balance and slap hands away, and he's faster than everybody thought he was. Like, he would stop, and then he'd get going, and he'd be at top speed before everyone else. And there's a lot of what I see with him. That left arm, the way he waves that arm. I know Emmitt's was right because he carried it in his left, but the way McCombs used that arm, it just looks a lot like his hips like that, and reminds me of that. And he put 2,000 yards on everybody last year. I gotta imagine he's going to do it again. We open up with them hosting Mountain Heritage and Owen the first 2 weeks on Waggy. Their conference consists of Brevard. East Rutherford's back. Coach Philip Rustin again got their varsity team back and running now. Hendersonville, Patton, Polk County, and RS Central. And Terry is – last year it was Chase and Hendersonville. Are we looking at the same thing again?
Possibly, yeah. I bet this is a good game to start off the year. Though you want to see what you got. You're playing Mountain Heritage, a prolific powerhouse every year from the mountains, and one great place to go watch a football game if you've never been there. I've loved it when I've went up there, but a good way to start. Mountain Heritage and Chase should be one heck of a game to start week 1.
Well, in let's see, the other games up there we'll have. Pisgah and Brevard in week 1, the Pisgah Bears. Then McDowell Titans at RS Central. And North Henderson and Hendersonville will start us off in that conference. Let's go down. Ken, can you see the Waggy there in front of you?
Yeah.
If you'll do that, I'll scroll down whenever you're ready.
Okay, we mentioned the Mountain Heritage Chase in week 8-19 and 8-26, Owing at Chase. And then the 9-2, we've got McDowell at East Rutherford. 9-9, Chesney versus RS Central. 9-16, Jefferson at Bessemer City. 9-23, Rutherford at Chase. 9-30, Hendersonville at Chase. And 10-7, East Rutherford at Hendersonville.
All right. Go down a little bit for you there.
And then 10-14, RS Central at East Rutherford. 10-21, Rutherford at Polk County. And 10-28, Chase at RS Central.
So, folks, I think we're pretty set on that schedule as well. Going into Rutherford County football with Paul Foster again, and again Jonathan Bland and Tanner Halbert. Now let's move over to the Cherryville Ironman football schedule. These games will be on 1590 AM and 92.9 FM that you're listening to right now. We've got I'll tell you what, while I pull up the schedules and everything for the rest of the conference, Terry, let me let you do Cherryville here again. So start with there, Avery County at Cherryville week 1.
And that's it. Avery County at Cherryville on 8-19. 8-26 will be Cherryville coming over to West Lincoln. 9-2, it will be Cherryville at Blacksburg, South Carolina. 9-9, it will be Chase at Cherryville. 9-16, Shelby makes a trip over here to Cherryville. 9-23, Cherryville will make a trip down to East Gaston. On 9-30, Kings Mountain at Forest View, Cherryville with the off week. On 10-7, it will be Highland Tech at Cherryville. 10-14, Cherryville makes a trip over to Thomas Jefferson. 10-21, Cherryville will make a trip over to Tom Centofanti and them Burns Bulldogs. And on 10-28, Cherryville at Bessemer City to conclude the season.
I can't remember if that's right or not. But either way, Bessemer, Burns, Cherryville, East Gaston, and Highland Tech, Shelby, and Thomas Jefferson in that conference. Week 1, Avery County at Cherryville. Terry, does Ironman pull off the win this week? We'll go across the board.
For this week?
Yeah.
I'm going to say they can.
I
A
think they
team
can.
coming out of the mountains, coming down to Cherryville. Maybe they haven't been down here. I know if you as a coach up there, and me and Coach Pruitt and all of us have talked about that for, I would have scheduled a game down here for a preseason, a practice or something, just to get my guys away from up there in the mountain because the difference of atmosphere. I mean, from up there where maybe it's kind of cool in the evenings to down here where it's humid and hot, you know, and I maybe I'm mentioning it wrong, but I know Coach Pruitt probably would like to have it hot this coming Friday.
Well, it's also good. Well, that playoff time, somebody's got to go somewhere.
yeah.
Well, you're right. So if you've never come down the mountain to play, it's good.
It makes a difference. It does make a difference.
You need to. Forest View at Burns, or either one of you. I know you two aren't experts on the Avery County Vikings or anything, but any other thoughts on that? Or I know Tom, Forest View and Burns. You guys be honoring probably Ron Green all this week, and I think Nelson told me that the night they named the stadium after Burns, I think they played Forest View.
Might have been it.
I think that's what he told me. He was talking something to come full circle.
I don't know exactly. I can see that.
I know he'll fuss at me if I said that wrong, but something about Forest View. It was named after him when they played them. But they've got the Jaguars this year, and sometimes they're pretty formidable, Tom, and then they're not. Have you heard anything or seen anything and know anything about this matchup?
Depends. I know they had a stud defensive lineman, and I was asking some of the coaching staff, is he back? Because he was hard to block last year, and they said no. I think he graduated. I don't know what else they had, but you know it's a big school. It's in Gastonia, so you figure they got some athletes coming out there. But I looked at the first 4, and that's a pretty tough little way to open the season. I mean, there's no cupcakes in that. You know, you got Forest View, then you got Crest, then you got Kings Mountain. I know Crest looked very good in the Jamboree, 34-0 winners over Newton Conover. Now, I know Newton Conover struggled last year. I don't know what they have this year. But Crest, you know, the new coaching staff came down from Hendersonville, and we're happy to have Coach Coggins, who came over from Crest last year. He didn't go with Coach Edens, went somewhere out east, back maybe where he's from. So he's come on over. So we got a source of some inside information about players. But when you bring a new coach in, he's going to bring in new everything. So that's going to be an interesting matchup week 2 with Burns and Crest.
It is a tough start there, Tom.
And then Kings Mountain, that's tough. And then Watauga, who beat Burns last year. You know, now they have to come down the mountain this year. And we were up 14-0 in that game before we let it get away from us. But that'll be an interesting matchup with, you know, that's the Chris Blanton Bowl, I guess, principal of both schools.
So Burns last year beat Forest View on a 2-point conversion.
It was close.
8-6.
Yeah.
So, Coach, Tom, could you be 0-4?
Well, I guess you could be 4-0 or you could be 4-0. But
well, I'm asking you the latter part of it.
I tell you that.
I mean, it'd be great to be 4-0.
I don't think Tom's looked at the schedule as closely until now.
Yeah. No, I've looked at it. No, I've looked and thought about this, but I don't know how much Watauga has, and Forest View, and I know Kings Mountain Crest will be good. Did Kings Mountain? Did they win their Jamboree game last night, Kevin?
I was going to pull up the highlights in a minute, so I haven't actually looked and seen.
The reason I'm asking is
Crest won 34-0.
Yeah, I know they won 30, and I know Shelby lost on a last-second field goal blocked or something like that. A lot of points.
So Terry, last year, let's look at you look at those first 4 games. Last year they went 2-2. All right, combined in those 4 games, Burns won by a grand total of 3 points and lost by a grand total of 7 points.
Yeah,
So
close
it'd be
games.
-4 in all 4 of those games.
So,
Grand total.
so my question is for Tom,
So they basically
if
lost
you-
by 1 point every game.
and I know
On
this is
average.
probably never going to happen because I don't see Burns going 0-4 in their first 4 games. But if it did, and I know the conference that you in, you got to keep them kids motivated to still want to play.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, sometimes along the line like that, you can lose kids on account, especially if you go 0-4 and you're losing games by 6-7 points every game. But then you have Highland Tech coming in, which you know you can beat them.
With
But
your
does-
JV teams.
Yeah, you know, I mean, does the rest of the season become what you need to change it and make your – and then you start looking at playoffs, you say, well, okay, we're not going to be one of the top seeds. We're going to drop down here, especially if you come up and lose to Shelby. You know,
I think it's going to be 2 seasons for Burns. One is your rivalry season, which you're going to have in the beginning of the year with Kings Mountain and Crest. And then you're going to move into your conference season where, you know, no disrespect to anybody, I just think Burns will handle Highland Tech. They'll handle Bessemer City. They'll handle Thomas Jefferson. They'll probably
handle
beat
East
Cherokee.
Gaston.
East Gaston, you know, they were pretty good last.
That running back graduated. You don't have to worry about it.
All right.
you're good.
And then
You're
and then,
fine.
And then what do you have there?
He was a stud.
I see Burns as undefeated in the conference, going to Shelby, playing for a conference title. No matter what happens the first 4 games, that's what I see happening now. Like I see now, no disrespect to any other team, I just feel pretty confident that Burns will have a lot of success in their conference. Now, early on, you know, it's 2-2. I don't know if you get out of that 2-2, you certainly don't want to lose to Crest and Kings Mountain, which, correct me if I'm wrong, it was a win over Crest last year for Burns. So, you know,
21-20.
we beat them by 1 point last year, and then the Watauga game surprised me a little bit. I thought they could win that one. Kings Mountain, the quarterback graduated and went to Appalachian State, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what they've got down there at quarterback. I mean, Kings Mountain's been good. Greg Lloyd is a good coach, and you know, he can out coach you. I mean, he's been at this a long time, so that's just a tough way to open. And those games will affect you seeding later on because
I mean,
how well you do.
Well, think about it. I mean, you finish and you lose. Let's just say you lose to Shelby, which you're playing them at Burns, so that's a plus. But say you come out 6-5. I mean, then you're starting to look at a second place finish, and you're starting to look at a 9 or 10 seed.
Think about this: them or Shelby is going to be the most dangerous 10 seed in the state playoffs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because if Burns happens
sure.
to beat Shelby could be 10-0 right then when they beat them.
Yeah. And still, I mean, you could be, like I said, 6-5 and still have a shot at winning the
Tom,
state.
y'all could go
for
0-4 and win the state
who you play.
championship.
Yeah,
Think about that.
let's-
You go 0-4 and win the state championship.
I don't see 0-4. I mean, it's just.
I don't either. I think you'll beat Forest View.
Okay, go ahead and tell us which team you're going to beat.
I think we'll beat Forest View and Watauga. I don't like Kings Mountain a quarterback. I mean, just haven't been able to, like, who's playing quarterback. I know that Kevin has got some highlights last night. I don't know if he's
I'll
got
pull some of that up.
pulled it up. But Crest, I mean, it's hard to gauge.
A rivalry.
It's hard to gauge how good Crest is based on a 34-0 win over Newton Conover, who struggled. Now, Cox Mill has good years and bad years. You know, a couple years ago, they were second in the conference. They had like 8-2, 8-3. They've had some years, and they've had some years they're 500. They're never terrible. You know what I mean? They're usually 500 or they're 750. You know, somewhere in there. So they have a decent program, and you know they're a much bigger school. You know, Cox Mill's probably got about 1,300 kids, I would say. And Burns, we're sitting about 960 right now. So, yeah, they went up against a bigger school and beat them, but it doesn't, you know. There's some big schools, you know, Terry, big schools don't have any football players.
That's true.
So, I mean, it's just hard to gauge. So, I like our chances against Forest View and Watauga. I think it's going to be dogfights between Crest and Kings Mountain. I don't think that either one of nobody in the county is just leaps and bounds ahead of anybody else. I just don't think so. I think it's going to be competitive games.
No, I'm just getting with you, Tom. I think you come out of that at least 2-2,
And you can come
maybe
out
3-1.
Might be 3-1.
You know?
Might be 4-0. Might be 1-3. You know,
You know.
I don't think they'll lose all 4. No, absolutely not. But we'll see. I think that Crest game is. I tell you what, There's a lot riding on that Crest game. You're the new coach at Crest, and basically they run. I shouldn't say that. Man, the other guy left. Yeah, let me just say the other guy left. So you've got somebody else coming in. You've got. I mean,
Don't put billboard material up
yeah.
out here.
You got you got a lot to prove. I got to word it carefully. I'm saying that if you're the Crest coach, you got a lot to prove. You know what I mean? This is your first rival game. You got a lot to prove. There's going to be a lot of pressure on him, I guess is what I'm trying to say a little more euphemistically. And then, it burns. This is your Super Bowl every year. Yeah. You got to beat these guys.
I tell them guys all the time. I know when Chris Norman was coaching at Shelby, I said, which is the best? You win a state championship or beat Cleveland County? He couldn't answer. I mean, which one do I want to hear? Because if I don't beat Cleveland County, I'm going to hear that every day.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a big game for both coaches. New man in trying to prove himself, and Burns trying to. Can't remember last time they beat Crest back-to-back years.
Tom, this is
that'd be huge.
The second touchdown there, Allen, last night to give you guys the go-ahead score in your. Oh, you can't see it that well. Let me switch.
Is that football referees wearing shorts?
Yeah, they do.
yes, it's hot, Tom.
Duh.
Baseball umpires never wear shorts.
Okay.
No,
I don't even know. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, they wear black.
Can we
when
make
it's 98
Can we get a
degrees
Will
outside.
Ferrell comedy out of that, Tom? Umpires with Will Ferrell.
So that's a Kings Mountain touchdown we're watching there.
That's y'all.
Yeah, that's Burns.
scoring a touchdown.
Okay, it's just hard to see.
Put your glasses.
Okay, yeah, I know. I need to put my glasses on. That's a nice throw.
Way to promote the video, Tom.
It's teeny tiny on the screen.
Just hard.
And you got Kings Mountain in the
Who's
end
worse,
zone.
him or JP, Terry?
No, but Ben Mooney, I think is really he's gonna have a great season. I mean, those boys have worked hard. Who was that on the touchdown catch?
Your number one receiver, ain't it, Allen?
LJ.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's another touchdown there.
This is Crest.
Okay.
I've only got one highlight from each team.
Okay.
So this is Crest long touchdown.
Is Coach Pack still the quarterback up there? I mean, the coach at Newton Conover. That's what Max Preps has.
Well, they've also got Keith Fox.
That's what I'm saying.
So,
I don't know how much I trust Max
no,
Preps.
not at all. Well, I don't know who had who here, but
He's gone.
I know y'all. Well, he passed the safety 10 yards ago.
Oh, yes.
But do y'all see who the corner's guarding out here?
Yeah,
Nobody.
Hey,
What? He's got his back turned to the quarterback, guarding nobody. Watch him. Just watch him if you watch this video. I'm going to go back to start. Watch the corner over here, or whoever had flats. This linebacker, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, okay, I'm just
right.
wandering around.
I see. He just walked out here with nobody. And this guy's down the field building a campfire. Work on that pass defense there in Newton Conover. Busted coverage, we'll call it that one. And then I had one more from Robbie. Where did it go? Here it is. This is a Shelby. This is the Shelby touchdown, coming right in. Well, not a touchdown, a play right in Robbie's grill.
So Shelby didn't win because the last second field goal got blocked. I think I read.
Reagan beat Shelby 29-28, and Monroe beat Kings Mountain 21-20. So Terry, Lincoln County 4-0, Cleveland County 2-2. Lincoln County going to run Cleveland County's house this year?
Yeah, come on down.
Close games. I mean, it's hard
Talk
to
about
tell.
bulletin board material.
Yeah.
I didn't put any bulletin board material up. I was just sometimes I have to think about the way I say things because, like I say, I mean, I just know how much pressure's on these coaches, especially if, like, I guess what I was trying to say is you're the man brought in to win these ball games that we hadn't won. That's a lot of pressure.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure. And you think about, you're the coach at Burns. What are all your fans saying? Beat Crest, beat Shelby, beat Kings Mountain. If you don't, I mean, it's a lot. People don't realize the pressure these high school coaches are under in these rivalry ball games. So, I mean, that's just.
Well, and you're telling it straight
Yeah.
because, again, I go back to 98 when Shelby won the state championship. When they first started, they couldn't beat Burns. They couldn't beat Kings Mountain. They couldn't beat. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And everybody wanted Norman gone.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, he's no good. He'll never do nothing. Then he goes on to win the state. You know.
So you're the new coach at Crest. Burns comes in there and beats you.
Yeah.
Well, that's gonna make a long week for you. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you that makes a long week.
If you
for
win, you're the greatest coach.
Oh,
we've
if you
ever
win, you're the
seen.
greatest coach ever. And you ask any coach in Cleveland County, when you lose to your rival, how's that weekend? It's miserable. I know
That's
is.
right.
I mean,
You don't go
they're
to the
sick.
barbershop.
They're sick to their stomach, and I'm sure if you needed to go to Walmart for a gallon of milk, everybody's going to be telling you what you needed to do, what you should have done, who should have been playing, and everybody knows.
Or you send somebody in, you arrive, you drive,
well,
but
we
you
need
don't
to
go
get
in.
somebody else. And I would just tell any fan, shut up. You have no idea. You have no idea what these coaches do. You don't have no idea the work they put in. You don't have no idea how hard the decisions they have to make. So before you say something stupid, and what makes it easier to say something stupid is these stupid computers. I just get on a computer.
Oh, yeah.
Type it in. How dumb this coach is and what we need to be doing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
Do you know Terry and Tom and Ken? In all the years we've been doing this, I have never been on a high school or an American Legion message board in my life. And I hear people talking about these things and arguing, and I'm like, "Are y'all serious?" Because I've been doing this for I don't know how long, and I've not engaged in any of that. But
I see them and get off.
I'm like, what are y'all?
I mean,
talking
because
about?
I want to say something back,
Right.
you know, and you know how I am. Because I'm gonna ask you and I'm gonna tell you, but I just get off of it. Like, just leave it.
A lot of people are really brave about what they say when they're on a keyboard.
Yeah.
It's a lot different.
Don't have to face them.
Keyboard,
Don't have to face them.
Keyboard warriors. All right, WHS game of the week this year. Well, Tom, real quick, one note on y'all's schedule. Your offense should be humming by the time you get to Shelby. Your defense better be awake.
Yeah, I know. They've
You know
got
what I mean?
skill.
'Cause
They
you're
got
not going to
skill,
see
man.
many challenges a month before you play Shelby.
They
So,
just got doggone, and Shelby always has athletes all over the place. I mean, it's like, okay, a lot of teams will double that guy, and then we'll take our chances with everybody else. I mean, you can't do that in Shelby. I mean, it's just they got so many athletes all over the place. So I think that last year they had the Burns defense had a great scheme. You know, they got 3 interceptions. You know, close game, couple explosive plays cost them, but
you need 4 really good basketball guys from the basketball
to
team
play DB,
to play your defensive backs.
play DB because they can react.
That's all you're
they
doing.
can react.
You're running
Right.
right. Yeah.
They can react. They can adjust. They're start, stop. It's basketball. I mean, yeah, you're absolutely 100% right, Kevin. So
And now that I'm thinking about it, I've never really thought about it. All the people that I knew that did play good defensive back, they did play basketball.
You know who else is good basketball players? Tight ends.
Yeah.
Tight ends because they get there, those around the goal line, they can box people out.
The DBs that didn't play basketball were either too short or their hips were awful. One guy's the fastest guy on the team, but he couldn't turn his hips, Terry. Couldn't put him at corner because as soon as you threw it, he was beat because he couldn't turn his hips. Fastest guy on the team.
Yeah.
Put him at safety and hope he's got time to turn around is what we did.
I'm just glad we don't have to go to Watauga. I am thanking my lucky stars.
Well, WHS game of the week this year, Brett Pascoe is going to be the head play-by-play man with Robbie Roop and Jeff Jones joining him depending on who's doing the games. Kings Mountain at Shelby in week 1, the 19th. Reynolds at Shelby week 2. Shelby at Crest week 3. That's rivalry week in Cleveland County. Burns and Kings Mountain, Shelby Crest. Shelby at High Brighton week 4. Ashbrook at Crest week 5. And Jefferson at Shelby. Let's see. Crest at South Point. Get that on here. And on September 30th. I was there looking right at it too. October 7th, North Gaston and Crest. Crest at Forest View the 14th. And East Gaston at Shelby on the 21st. And we'll finish up with Kings Mountain at Crest. So again, this coming up this week, folks. KTCBroadcasting.com. Let's go over what we're going to have. Forest View at Burns, live YouTube video coverage. Tom Sinofani, bring you live video. You can watch the game, the plays, the highlights, everything. Live video from Burns, just like we used to, folks.
Thank you, Burns.
Yep.
Thanks
to the administration.
Kings Mountain will be on the radio. Kings Mountain at Shelby will be on the radio, 101.5 FM over in Cleveland County with Brent Pascoe and Jeff Jones will have the call there. Over in Cherryville, we'll have Avery County at the Cherryville Ironman And Matt Chapman and Danny Aker will have coverage. We'll also have We'll have Twitter highlights from our radio games, folks. So all of our radio games, if you're wondering about seeing video, we don't have a live video of the game, but we will have Twitter highlights. Then over in Waggy, we have Mountain Heritage at Chase. That will be with Paul Foster and Jonathan Bland. And then High Brighton at East Lincoln for our Lincoln County Game of the Week with David Potter and Jason Sane. We'll have highlights of that game as well. So all of our games we plan that we do live video, so we got 4 audio. Now, Lincoln County Game of the Week, guys, that game will be on YouTube, audio only. We'll be showing the scoreboard, but it'll be audio only for those games. So just heads up on that, and then we'll of course remind people during those games. So we got 4 audio games, 1 video. But then in studios, we got 3 studio shows live on the internet, live video, live on YouTube, beginning with the Witherspoon Insurance pregame show at 5:30 to 7, where we'll be previewing all of our broadcasts and other games in the areas. Then at 7:30, we'll take a 30-minute break and go out to the fields for their pregame shows. Then at 7:30, I go live, Red Zone Radio, live scoring highlights, folks. We'll have highlights from all 5 of those games, plus we'll have highlights from Bessemer City and 1 more, probably random game of the week that we'll have highlights from. So hopefully we're going to have highlights from 7 games every week. And if Tom and them do their timestamps right, I got to talk to you about that. We'll have definitely make my job easier on the Burns highlights, so I don't have to search for you. I just need you to write down when they score.
All right.
That'll make my job. I'll have to hire an intern if you don't. JP can't do it. JP, I got something for you to do. There we go. Never mind. Cut video. I said I got something for you to do, and he's set up.
Well, you said you had something for me to do, so I had to get on air.
I didn't mean right now.
Well, I know you're not right now.
Are you having a good weekend, JP?
Yeah, so far.
Did you go watch any movies?
What?
Did you go watch any movies?
No.
Well, I know Tom brought you an action figure. What did he bring you?
He brought me Captain America
Captain America.
with no shield.
Oh, look at him.
Oh,
Oh, dog, you
there
messed
go,
up.
Tom.
All I said was with no shield. That's fine.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're one and done on those.
See? There he is.
There you go.
I mean, hey, it doesn't matter. I mean, hey.
If you're going to bring him sometime, bring him the whole thing. That'd be like bringing me a helmet and it'd have North Carolina. It wouldn't have state on it or nothing.
Why do I
Just
come?
be real.
Why do I come here?
I wasn't complaining. It still looked really good in my room with all my superhero stuff. So hey, I got a shelf that's nothing.
can he?
I got a shelf that's nothing but Captain America, so that'll look good on it.
Does he have any powers without that shield?
Yes.
I don't know anything about Captain
Okay.
America.
That's what I'm saying. He just lost half of them over on account of the shield.
He didn't have a shield in Infinity War.
Well, in the spirit of American Legion, you had nicknames for us. You can call Ken Captain America. How about that?
All right, that works.
Go back to where you got
he's
it
a veteran,
and ask
so
for
we'll call
it.
him Captain America. Thanks, Tom. Red Zone Radio. I was getting into that before we got a little sidetracked there. So we're going to take highlights from all 7 games. I'll be in the studios live. I'll be going through the highlights live as they come across my desk or internet, whatever you want to call it. We go straight through it and give all the highlights. We'll give them multiple times, watch it live. Then we do live scoring through the night. We sit here and we put up the scores as quick as we can, the best we can. And then so it's a pretty fun, entertaining show. You get to keep up with the scores and see touchdowns all at the same time. So we'll have fun with that. That's 7:30 to 9:30 every night. And then after that, the post-game show goes on to 11:45. We'll show some of the same highlights. Also, folks, if you take a highlight, your friends, family, cousins, anybody takes a highlight and has scoring highlights, different angles, something, anything, cheerleaders, bands, send it to us. We love using the bands on Friday nights for our sound effects channel. We come in and out, and on Saturdays, we like playing the bands on the video. So anything you guys want to post, feel free to tag us at KTC Broadcasting or hashtag KTC Sports. Now, with that said, it's about time for another break.
Yeah, well, he's went to the restroom, so wait till he gets back. One thing I would like to say, though, Kevin, as you're mentioning that, support your bands because they are practicing right now to get ready for the season, and all the volunteers that you're going to have at the games because, without them, the games do not go on. You know, you can't even get in the ticket box to get you a ticket if somebody's not giving you one.
So, do you guys want to sign my letter to the Athletic Association about wanting to do throw counts for football? Quarterback pass counts?
Oh, my goodness.
Like they do for baseball.
Ken, I made the point, I know we talked about it a little bit. I made the point a couple weeks ago is it not more dangerous to be sitting in the pocket with Shelby coming at you, waiting to throw a football, than it is standing on, nobody's going to tackle me on the mound. but you're worried about my health out on this mound. And I can go in there and get some water and Gatorade. I can go sit down after I do something, take a break after. But in football, we don't worry about the quarterback's arms. We don't worry about their concussions. Did you see Brett Favre said he had 9 million concussions or something like that?
Well, you never
And
had
I
to
believe
worry.
him.
You never had to worry about the quarterback if you got swing passes. The ball's out of his hands.
Says that someone who's never God Almighty, Terry. I tell you, the worst time I ever got hit was on probably a swing pass. The worst one was an option off the defensive end to Shelby. And they called the play the next time, Terry. Ken, I told him no. I said, call something else.
Like shaking off a pitch, shaking off that call.
That's right.
No. The funniest one I refused to run was we would sneak in one of our fast players on a double tight end set and try to do a reverse with him. And we reversed it and we ran all of our options at best when we're off the defensive end and not the linebacker, which I don't like that at all. You get everybody killed. But that's what we were doing. So he gets the reverse, and it's a reverse option with him, too, because he's the backup quarterback. And the defensive end's uncovered. So Julius Peppers, I didn't see it. All I heard was the crowd go, ooh, oh. And I look over there, next thing they know, they got him sitting on the bench with smelling salts. And they called then they called the option to the same defensive end on the next play, Ken. I said, no. He said, what do you mean no? I said, did you not just see what happened to Deontay? I'm not getting suplexed in front of everybody, too. Let's try something. How about off tackle other side? I'm going to hand it off and get out of the way. So we went the other way on that. I wasn't running to him no more. No more. But the worst one, I did get crushed at Shelby running that option. You talk about the swing pass. We had one, and I wasn't supposed to be starting that game. The other guy was. So the coach we didn't have basically the starter got in trouble the day before, and I played the first half. We didn't change the offense. So here we go, running the option off their defensive end for me. And Sabart said the only thing he saw was 2 people pick me up, and he saw my hand come out from between their helmets, Terry, and I flicked the pass to him like this. He got like 2 yards out of it. But today when I see him, he said, I'll never forget that play because all I could see was a hand pop out of there like this. He goes, whoop. And I said, yeah, I got planted.
Well, 2 of the worst plays that I've ever seen, and this is always it's the same team. When East Lincoln was playing Monroe and Surratt got ate up.
Yeah.
And that was all over YouTube.
Well, we had video of that too.
Then Herndon, not Herndon, but Eichert from West Lincoln, he come around in the defensive end, broke loose, and got him coming around on a reverse and ate him up.
Chaz, the one at Monroe was not actually called play. That was a scramble play. Mm-hmm. He spun like Romo used to do, and the end was
right
there.
The
end was right there. He turned it. It was bad. He turned right into it. He got smoked. Yeah, you can actually look that on YouTube.
Yeah.
But I didn't see the other one, Terry. You said that was Chaz too?
Yeah. No, it wasn't Chaz. It was Eichert from West Lincoln when we played Monroe in the playoffs.
Oh, Monroe got you.
Yeah, it was the same defensive team.
Okay, got you.
But
got you. JP, you ready in there?
Yep.
You sure? All right.
Yeah.
Well, when we come back, we'll talk. Well, Terry, I'll show you this hit right quick while you're talking about it as soon as the commercial gets done. But we're going to come back here in just a minute, and we're going to talk. We've got Major League Baseball to squeeze in, some NFL news. This is the Chaz hit. So he scrambles around. He's going this way.
Watch this.
And go up. No, let me go this way. Boom.
Ooh. Yeah.
That hurts.
Welcome to my territory.
That's what I was saying. He wasn't even looking. Yeah. He was looking down the field when he got here. I was broadcasting the game. I remember. I could see it in my head. Him turning.
Clean hit, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was.
Yeah. Wonder how he held on that football.
Right. Well, because he's 6'3", 220.
Boom. Look at that.
Yeah.
Clean hit. Not helmet to helmet.
He right in the chest. That's a good pause right there by me. And then he got.
That is ankles over elbows.
But look, the kid that hit him's not small.
No.
He's probably the biggest dude
And
out
all
there.
of them running to him
Like,
because, I did
he
what I
got
was
280
supposed to.
pounds of him. But, Terry, that's one thing as far as here's a coaching moment right there as far as defensive-wise. That's why you always pursue.
Yeah.
Chaz was he had no chance of catching Chaz Surratt. No chance. And Chaz turned around and ran right back into him.
How
looking
long
down
was
the
he
field.
out after that couple plays?
Yeah, it wasn't that long. Yeah. But that was near the end of the game. He might have not even finished.
First of all,
can't
for
remember
the
if he
first
finished the
10
game.
seconds, you're trying to get your breath back.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to figure out what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What-
I know.
what
I
was
don't know
that?
how Chaz felt or
Was
whatever.
that a truck? Was that out in the
Right.
street?
See, he didn't even see it. That's why he probably don't even know what happened. The worst one, Terry, you talk about trying to get your breath. I got hit one time on a kick return. I wasn't supposed to be kick return, and they kicked it up to me. I was just filling in for somebody. Some guy couldn't get his rib pads on. I get the ball, had a big hole. I'm looking good here. Turned left, and the future linebacker at Penn State from North Gaston smoked me. About like that. But anyway, next play, I'm playing quarterback. The coach called it an option, and I couldn't breathe.
Your coach wasn't too aware of
Yeah.
the situation.
Yeah.
I was sitting there going, and the guy who got his rib pads out, and I'm like, hey, I want the ball. I was like, okay. I was like, I can't run an option. So we did a pitch left, a sweep left to him. And but anyway, yeah, exactly what you're talking about. Chaz ain't no way, like, he could. I think it's something, didn't he break a rib or something in this, maybe even? Like, look right
cannot
there when he
remember.
tries to get up. He drags his head across the ground. That's how bad he's hurting there. Surely couldn't breathe. But anyway, big hit. Terry's right. All right, JP, are you ready now? You ready, meow? You ready, meow?
Yeah, I'm
got-
ready.
But you don't got your shield. The defenseless JP. When we come back on KTCBroadcasting.com.
The dog days of summer are here, and the folks at Shelby Heated and Air can help keep you cool and save you up to $750 in discounts on quality Carrier heated and air conditioning systems. Plus, if you need service, ask for their $55 radio service special. Just mention this radio ad and get your service call for just $55. Call Shelby Heated and Air, 704-487-7877. 1990 Eaves Road in Shelby. Online at shelbyheating.com. See their page at whatsuppchopper.com and like them on Facebook too. Yes, septic tank problems just stink. Not only are the odors embarrassing, but ignoring the problem can ruin your yard and your plumbing. With over 40 years of experience, Dennis Willis Septic Tank Service in Cherryville knows how important it is for your home or business to have a septic tank service that responds quickly and effectively, preventing further damage and future repairs. Just call Dennis Willis Septic Tank Service, 704-435-2326, 704-435-2326, or visit the website at denniswillisseptic.com. Now at the Whiskey Mill Bar and Grill in Gastonia, you can add pimento cheese to any of their famous sandwiches or get a grilled pimento cheese sandwich. And don't forget about their daily specials, good at both locations. Monday, 65-cent boneless wings. Tuesdays, a BLT sandwich and a side for $5.99. On Wednesday and Sundays, $1 junior wings. And Thursday, Chick-fil-A sandwiches for $4 at Whiskey Mill Bar and Grill, 201 Pennsylvania Avenue in Bessemer City, and at 199 South York Road in Gastonia. Online at whiskeymill.com.
Looking for commercial or residential flooring? Look no further than Piedmont Flooring in Lincolnton. Piedmont Flooring is in the same location as Watson Carpet and Tile. Jason Husky, the owner, has military background and is active in the community as well as sports. Piedmont Flooring specializes in laminate, LVP, LVT, sheet vinyl, hardwoods, tile, carpet, cabinets, countertops, VCT, and backsplash. Open Mondays through Fridays, 8 to 5 p.m., Saturdays, 8:30 to 12. Piedmont Flooring, 2129 East Main Street in Lincoln. Call 704-735-2938. It's a family-owned business helping families.
The 109th Annual Hickory Fair is set for August 31st through September 5th at the historic Hickory American Legion Fairgrounds. 6 big days of fun with midway rides, local agriculture products, livestock exhibits, live music, entertainment, and the exhibit hall with all kinds of vendors. See the High Flying Pages Thrill Show, Renee Riddle and the Ramblers, The Magic of Lance Gifford, Aristops Acrobatic Extravaganza, Carolina Helicopter Tours, The Little Roy and Lizzie Show, Nature's Wonderland Carving, the Livestock, and the James H. Drew Ride Exposition. August 31st through September 5th, the 109th Annual Hickory Fair at the historic Hickory American Legion Fairgrounds. 1 American Legion Avenue, Newton. Online at hickoryfair.com.
The Cherryville Golf and Country Club has new renovations and will be expansion on golf. Having a wedding reception? Cherryville Golf and Country Club banquet room is the place for it. Private parties, birthday parties, and corporate events. Cherryville Golf and Country Club, 200 Club Drive, Cherryville. Call 704-435-6597.
Tune in for Down Home with Milton Baker, Monday through Friday from 9 to 11 o'clock on Carolina Country WCSL, 92.9 FM, 1590 AM, and online at ktcbroadcasting.com.
And we're back on Saturday Morning Sports Talk with Kevin and the gang.
Come on, I gave you a chance.
Tom, why don't you tell us about Shelby Heating and Air?
Tom, he wanted you to talk about Shelby Heating and Air.
Yeah.
Shelby Heating and Air. Give them a call, 704-487-7877. Check them out online, shelbyheating.com. I know it's hot now. Probably going to be hot for what? What do you think? 2 more months, Terry?
Well, they're showing. Well, yeah, Tom. I'll just
Yeah,
go
another couple months. Might need to get your
Oh,
AC.
Lordy.
You know, you're supposed to get a fall service on your AC.
Summer ends September 20th.
Yeah, but not in North Carolina. No, summer ends about Halloween.
Yeah.
in
You
North
get down to
Carolina.
around September the 30th. I think they showed this morning, like the highs like 79 at that time.
Yeah, so
That's what we're looking for.
And then winter will be here before you know it. So get your heating system checked out. They can do that. They can put in a new system, fix your old, service your old. Give them a call, 704-487-7877. Once again, shelbyheating.com. Kevin.
All right. Let's do a looking at this time. Let's do a very quick baseball segment. And cover this real quick. Fernando Tatis was suspended 80 games.
Yeah,
I read about that.
For PED.
He didn't know. He was treating his ringworm.
Do you know who was never suspended 80 games for PEDs? Jose Canseco, Mark McGuire, Barry Bonds.
Barry Bonds didn't do that.
Sammy Sosa. None of them were suspended 80 games. They're not all in the Hall of Fame.
But that's in your criteria now. I mean, they have been guys who've been suspended 80 games plus seasons.
So does this mean he is not eligible for the Hall of Fame again, according to the other? The other ones weren't even. Again, they didn't even do anything against the rules of baseball, and these are the best player in the game actively doing this. And then I'm going to have something for you in just a few moments once you get your thoughts on where we are. You know, we're sitting here in this Hall of Fame. We don't got this stuff. We're still doing PEDs. They're never going to stop doing them. So how do you handle all this? You got Jeff Bagwell sitting there. Buff Bagwell's in the Hall of Fame, but Barry Bonds isn't.
Well, with the current writers that vote on the Hall of Fame, I just don't think these guys that's pretty clear that they were users are not going to get in. And, you get into performance-enhancing drugs. The thing about it is it's sort of dumb now. They've got lists. You can check to see if it's on the list. You could have somebody with the organization you're playing for check and make sure before you take anything.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not too happy with Tatis. He broke his wrist in a motorcycle accident off season, and now he's got this happening. The Hall of Fame, he's a great player. But I got news for you. With this so far, his stats and his performance don't deserve the Hall of Fame. So he's still young. We'll see. But right now, he obviously great talent, but off to a rocky start with this.
He just signed. It's the second year of a 14-year,
$340 million contract.
So, and there's some players, even the management now is questioning his ability to grow up, is how they put it. You should have known, you should have asked before you took this drug. So, for them, it hurts San Diego now. Will it prolong into next year? You got to change it. I mean, it's 80 games. So you're going into, does this not transfer over to next year?
It does. They said,
That's what I thought.
I think they said like 33 games next year.
Yeah. So, so you're just hurting the whole team with the player that you are and what you can do and how you can help them, for them to put up without you for 80 games. My deal with stuff like this, and this is how I look at stuff like that. If you got another guy and he comes in, Tatis, you know what, buddy? I know we got you in this long contract, but we're going to try to get rid of you.
$340 million contract.
That's hard to do, though. Yeah.
$340 million contract. He's going to play when he's back. But
call the Yankees right now, somebody.
Yeah.
Call the Dodgers.
There you go. One of those two.
I'll say that he did own up. It was my mistake. He's not blaming on anybody.
No, he's not.
He's saying I didn't research the medicine. He said it was for ringworm. I would maybe eye roll that one. I think he was recovering from an injury. I don't know if that had anything to do with it.
That's what McGuire said.
Playoff games do. Now, playoff games do count towards his suspension.
Yes.
So if San Diego makes a run in the playoffs, that will shorten his suspension into next year. So I mean that's another added benefit for San Diego if they continue to win ball games. It must be a lot of incentives in his contract because I was looking how much he was going to miss. It wasn't as much as I thought. It was in the single-digit millions. This guy's got a $340 million contract. I mean, I don't know how much his incentive signing. You know the way they do these things. He is being a man about it, but I had ringworm. These guys don't get ringworm. These guys. I mean, I just have, when you have an unsanitary practice facility, I just don't see that with a major league team. And a lot of times, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. If he had it, probably 5 or 6 other people had it. Because we had it on a wrestling team one year. Wasn't one guy that had it. It was like 10 guys that had it. Yeah. So I just don't know how much I give the ringworm excuse. It might have been.
Well, okay. Now, I know you're going to roll your eyes at me, but we're going to go here. Here's my conspiracy theories of the moment. Do you remember, Terry, 2 or 3 years ago, we were talking, and it came out that accusations that Mike Trout was doing HGH, and we kind of talked about it a little bit. And the reason it was brought up was because the third base coach for the New York Yankees is the one who accused him of it. Scott Brosius, former Yankee, and was the Mariners' third base coach in 2018, said, quote, if you want to read something better, talking about the sign stealing scandal, this is what they're asking about. He said, how about try about Mike Trout taking HGH for his thyroid condition? It's a loophole that Trout found, and the Major League Baseball doesn't make it public because they don't want fans to know about it, that their best player is using HGH, but people within baseball know. This is Scott Brosius. So, now, with that said, this article is 2020. Let's look at Mike Trout's stats. Up until 2019, 130 games, 150 games, 150 games, 150 games, 110 games, 140 games, 130 games. As everything after Mike Trout having this article come out and these accusations, Terry, in the next 3 years, 50 games, 30 games, 79 games, hurt. He has 7 really good seasons. He's accused of HGH, and he plays 150 games. He hasn't played over 140 games in 5 years. Went straight downhill once the accusations came out. I'm not saying what's going on, but maybe like McGuire was talking about, that they use this stuff to recover. And that was his main thing, is that everyone else is in there doing amphetamines. He don't want to do amphetamines. He's going to do something to help his muscles recover, as opposed to whatever the amphetamines were doing for him. But this is where I was going with some of this stuff, is that here's Mike Trout. Another year not playing, and it's went nothing. He hasn't played a full season since these issues came out about HGH. So, and that's the one they really can't test for that well. So I think that's why is LeBron going to Germany, Tom, every summer?
Yeah, good question.
He hanging out with Dirk and Henrik Rodel. You remember him?
I
Played for Carolina.
That's a good Carolina. Yes, sir. Sure did.
Henrik, he's hanging out with Henrik Rodel over there doing therapy. You think that's what he's doing?
Yeah.
Going to the hookah lounges with Henrik. I'm trying to think of another German basketball player if I can. That's the only 2 I can name off the top of my head right now. Max Kleber, ain't he German too? From them.
Yeah, I think so.
But what are they doing if they're not doing this, Ken?
I don't know.
I mean, they had Bonds and David Ortiz and A-Rod and all these had these clinics in Florida.
I know.
And then LeBron and his friends go to Germany every summer for the wonderful German women and beaches?
There's no beaches in Germany. Not that I know of.
That's what- all right, I'm just trying to figure out, LeBron, what are you doing there? So anyway, there's my questions of the week. My conspiracy theory of the week is that I believe all that stuff, and they're all cheating, and they need to let Bonds and them back in. I was watching some videos on hitting this week with Bonds and Gwynn, and I did want to bring that up real quick. Now I got one more minute or two on this to show you guys something. And I always thought it was Bonds' hitting mechanics were always weird to me, and I went back and looked at it, and I figured out why. I'll pull it up for you guys to see here in a second. I always thought he had like a little hitch in his swing, but I was trying to figure out what made him so good. I was trying to tell people, and then Terry was talking about the other day, you and I, about how he probably had the best eye we've ever seen. And one thing that he does as far as the eye that I noticed, you remember this big old giant piece of plastic he used to wear on his arm to protect him? When they showed the view from the pictures, like his head is almost in the zone. Like he is in the zone. Him and Tony Gwynn both put their heads in the zone. But then I was thinking about King Griffey Jr., his swing, how beautiful it was. But I'm like, but he didn't hit it for average like Bonds. So I wanted to see the difference between the two and why he hits for average, and then Griffey was hitting for the home runs and not for average. So watch Bonds' hands right here. They're high shoulder, really tight. Okay, this is the slow motion. I'll just go ahead and play it, and you can just kind of watch him do this. But what Bonds does, what got me, and I don't see a lot of people do this. He will drop his hands when the pitch comes and then raise them back up right where they were. So I'm going to put my mouse there for you folks watching. Watch him. He drops his hands just straight down, pumps up, and then right there, I mean, he's as low. Look how much his hands dropped right there. Now watch his shoulder. That's what? As far as you about can go, 12 inches from his shoulders. And then as soon as that ball starts coming this way, they're right back to where they were. And then, boom, he's through the zone. All right. So that right there, I'm going to show you guys what you think, is almost exactly the same as Tony Gwynn. I swear they almost do the same thing, but one hit for power and one didn't. One's a little bit stronger, obviously, than the other.
One took a few more drugs. One ate a few more cheeseburgers.
Right. Tony Gwynn wasn't doing any body
Barry Bonds wasn't either.
body taken care of. So this is Gwynn. Now watch his hands. They do the exact same thing. Start at the shoulders, and you say it was so quick, then they slow it down here. Watch him. Dropped it back up to the top. His was so quick. Bonds dropped, 4 inches more? But it's the exact same motion. When that pitch comes, their timing mechanism is exactly the same, where they both drop straight down, pop it back up, and then swing through. Like it was almost...
Imagine if he'd have taken care of himself.
A little bit down.
You know?
You ought to see, have you seen him when he's older? Look how fat he got.
Yeah. How long's it been since he
dead.
died?
Yeah, I was about to say he's dead.
It's been a few
years.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those, I just want to show you how similar those were. But you can see Bonds, he would gear up that back leg more, and he would swing a little bit more up, just a little bit.
More exaggerated.
Right. But that first hitting, because I'm looking at this because my son's lefty, so I'm like trying to, how do I want to get him to do this? So he's been swinging more like King Griffey Jr. with a long drag, and you'll see the difference immediately when I show you. If you remember, Bonds and Tony Gwynn were crouched into the strike zone. Basically, their heads were in that strike zone. Griffey's not. He's back and standing up. Now, he does drop his hands a bit, but the difference that he does is his bottom arm, his front arm, is straight the whole time. So he's a straight arm swinger. The other two have them tucked, is what I'm saying. So this is what this video is going to show is Griffey swinging with is obviously in straight, in slow motion. But I just wanted to see how his hands go up first and don't drop, and this arm gets straighter. So Griffey's arm, you folks y'all looking around at Tom couldn't see. So Griffey's arm is just straight back, and that's what he uses to scoop. So totally different, and that's why Bonds and Gwynn hit for average better than Griffey did. Is that it was more compact in the zone. Griffey's swing is beautiful home run swing. Like he's gonna hit 280 and 40 home runs with that. Bond's going to hit 335 with his. Then Tony hit 340 with it. Well, Tony's wins were dropping in front of the wall, and Bonds were going over an extra 10 feet with his HGH Tommy.
Just a little bit of HG.
Look how straight that arm is. That's insane how straight Griffin. That's what my son looks exactly like that almost. That arm gets straight. So anyway, left-handed hitting drills right there. All right, JP, let's take a quick break. We come back. NFL, we got to talk about Deshaun Watson's debut for the Cleveland Browns last night. Carolina Panthers and more. KTCBroadcasting.com.
The dog days of summer are here, and the folks at Shelby Heated and Air can help keep you cool and save you up to $750 in discounts on quality Carrier heated and air conditioning systems. Plus, if you need service, ask for their $55 radio service special. Just mention this radio ad and get your service call for just $55. Call Shelby Heated and Air, 704-487-7877. 1990 Eves Road in Shelby. Online at shelbyheating.com. See their page at whatsupshopper.com and like them on Facebook too.
It's the Great Gas Card Giveaway. KTC Broadcasting and whatsupshopper.com in cooperation with Shell Gasoline will be giving away up to $1,000 in gas cards. Yes, $1,000 in gas cards will be given away. All you have to do is register. Visit your nearest participating merchant for in-store details. Register today at Oakey's Tire and Recapping, West Warren Street, Shelby. Medical Arts Pharmacy, West Grover Street, Shelby. At Hojo Power Sports and Equipment on Grigg Street in Shelby. At No Bull Mattress, South New Hope Road, Gastonia. At Jeff's Auto Sales on Highway 74 Bypass East in Shelby. At Cummings Furniture on West Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. At Cleveland Floor Covering on East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. At Honda Motorcycles, Highway 74 Bypass East in Shelby. And at Shelby Meat and Grocery on South Lafayette Street in Shelby. The drawing will be held August 26th. Again, be sure to register to win up to $1,000 in gas cards. Brought to you by Shell Gasoline, KTC Broadcasting, WOHS in Shelby, WCSL in Cherryville, WAGY in Forest City, and whatsupshopper.com.
It's time to splash down at Today's Pro in Shelby. Today's Pro now has pool supplies. Keep cool with Today's Pro. They're featuring Aqua Bright chemicals, the ones the pool professionals use. Coming now for free Spin Lab water testing. And if you mention this radio ad, you get $10 off your pool supplies. And don't forget about their propane fill-up for those backyard cookouts. Again, it's time to jump in. Get your pool chemicals and pool supplies today at Today's Pro, 1325 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. Call 704-600-8393 or visit the website at todayspro.com. Having trouble finding a good selection of furniture for your home? Well, not anymore. At Carolina Furniture Mart in Lincoln, and they are stocked wall-to-wall and rooftop tall. And they sell right off the floor. You pick up or they will deliver to your home. They run their own trucks, keeping their showroom full of a wonderful selection of sofas, recliners, sectionals, bedroom, dining, and mattresses. That's Carolina Furniture Mart, 644 North Aspen Street in Lincoln. Online at carolinafurnituремart.com and see their page at whatsupshopper.com.
Hi, I'm Mark Booth with the Shop Inc. Auto Body Shop on Marys Grove Road in Cherryville, North Carolina.
And I'm Kathy Booth from TSI Garage on West Church Street in Cherryville, North Carolina.
And we go together like peanut butter and jelly.
See me at TSI Garage for all your oil changes, tune-ups, and best price on tires.
And see me at the Shop Inc. Auto Body Shop for all your collision repair and painting needs. We handle all insurance claims too.
And we work on classic cars too.
The Shop, Auto Body and Repair, 1034 Marys Grove Road in Cherryville, and TSI Garage, 806 West Church Street in Cherryville.
Just like peanut butter and jelly.
Here are a few words that describe Creason Roofing of Cherryville. Professional, fast, affordable, and local. So why call anyone else? Creason Roofing is in its third generation with Stephen and Stephanie. They are local, and to prove they mean business, they will beat any reputable competitor's bid by $500, or they will pay you $100. Call for details at 704-400-8805, and you get a lifetime labor warranty. Cherryville's only roofing company is Creason Roofing. Again, call 704-400-8805, online at creasonroofing.com. Like them on Facebook too.
The going out of business sale is continuing with more discounts than ever before at Teddy's Emporium Outlet in Eastridge Mall, Gastonia. Listen up. All clothing is now $1 each. Men's, women's, and children's clothing just $1 each. And now everything, and I mean everything else, is 60% off. That's right, 60% off. Hurry in now before it's gone. The going out of business sale at Teddy's Emporium Outlet in Eastridge Mall on North New Hope Road in Gastonia.
And we're back on Saturday Morning Sports Out with Kevin and the gang.
I love that thing.
Okay, Will.
So,
we are back. Ken is listening. At least one of us is listening.
And before we move on from baseball, can we talk about the first place Cleveland Indians, please?
Who?
No.
Who?
You mean
No,
the
we
Guardians?
can't.
You mean the Guardians?
We can't.
They're thinking about changing the name back because of the fan backlash. I hear there's rumors.
They better.
There's rumors.
Tom,
Oh,
get that shirt off, man. That's like history. That's what you teach in school.
Well,
man.
I guess the United States government now has the Bureau of Guardian Affairs because
All right.
can't use that word anymore. But the Indians are in first place.
How about that?
Give us some credit. Give us some love on
It's not over
Saturday
yet,
Morning
Tom.
Sports Talk. It's not over, but
That's right. Go ahead and get your stuff for
they'll,
today.
they'll probably blow it. But 8-0 victors over
Now,
the
Terry,
Toronto
real quick,
Blue Jays.
Tom. As pessimistic as the Debbie Downers he's been all year, should he even be allowed to brag about
Well,
it right
I'm saying
now?
he's told us all year
all
long
year,
they're no
he's put
good.
them down. They're terrible. We ain't going to do it. We ain't going to make it.
And
Then
now,
I've
all of a
never
sudden
said-
they're
brag and
first.
talk about it. Let's give them
No,
credit.
false.
No.
What I said
no.
was
They're mediocre.
They're young. They need a bat. You know, I was like, they need a couple more
Did
bats.
they get
gotta
a bat?
go. No, they didn't trade for anybody.
Okay.
No boost.
But as a team, this McKenzie kid has been pitching lights out. They still got Bieber. I mean, they're
My team's in first two, Tom. I didn't say anything about it.
Well, you know, it's like me. I should have come in here today and said, how about Kansas City? We finally swept somebody for the first
Who'd you
time
sweep?
this year. Chicago.
Chicago's just the wagon wheels of
Oh,
fire.
yeah.
By the way, Ken, I do want to remind you that at the first of the year, Anaheim started off with a winning record.
Oh, yeah.
And Terry
they
sat
had a
here
hot
for the
streak.
first 2
yeah.
weeks talking about it's because they got rid of Pujols, and he hasn't said Anaheim in 2 months since they started losing. He hasn't brought that back up.
Yeah.
It's weird how that works around here. All right,
Yeah,
NF
Pujols glad he's in St. Louis now.
yes, he
for sure.
is. He's glad I got out of that mess. Last night, Tom, let's pull up the picture. Here we go. 2 big busts shaking hands right there on ESPN. Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson. Watson goes 1 of 7 last night. Lawrence was 500, 6 of 12. So combined, the Clemson quarterbacks last night were 7 of 13. Is that right? 1 of 7 and 6 of 12. 7 of 19.
Yeah.
That was terrible math by me. 7 of 19 last night. They make some pretty good college quarterbacks, but not doing too well. So Watson got to play last night. Browns. We'll go over some of the scores if you want to know about them for you folks at home. Let's see. Thursday night, Giants beat the Patriots. Ravens haven't lost a preseason game. Did you guys know this? Since 2018
I'm proud of him.
That's
or
great.
17. I think it's 17. Haven't.
It's
they're-
important to
like
win your
19
preseason
or
games. I think the year
it's like
that
21 games in a row.
Cleveland went over the season or 1 from 15, they won all 4 of their preseason.
Yeah.
That's like Dallas. When we go 0 and something or 1 and something, we're very good there.
You know, if you want to gauge anything, you know, you look at the first quarter stats because that's generally when a lot of starters are going to play. Of course, I heard that Chubb didn't play last night. A lot of their starting wide receivers. They said Anthony Schwartz for the Cleveland dropped a couple passes, and they say that he might not even make the team. He's third-round draft choice last year, and he ain't going to make the team now.
They need to
so.
find a nice resort, Tom, and stick Chubb in it for the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, I know.
Don't come to practice. Don't do anything. You keep squatting 600 pounds by yourself.
Yeah.
Get a massage. Go to
wouldn't-
the pool.
He would not.
Don't come to practice.
He would not sniff the field.
We don't want him to
He
get
wouldn't. He wouldn't sniff
hurt
the
at all.
field if it was me.
No, he wouldn't be nowhere near the
See,
facility in the preseason.
But what's you know, the situation that Watson's in now, at least for the immediate future. Okay, so what if he comes in and stinks up the joint like he did last night? Okay, look at this guy. Look at all the stuff he's done. He can't even play. You sold the farm for this guy. He can't even play. What if he does do well? Yeah, he did real well. But what about all this other stuff he did? I mean, he's going to catch it no matter.
He was 1 of 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to 1 for 5 and 7 yards. Ken, you traded 3 first-round draft points. You got paid this guy $230 million
Guaranteed.
guaranteed.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to warm up a little bit, Tom.
I'm just saying.
Josh Dobbs went 10 of 13 last night. Where's Brissett at?
Against guys that are going to be working.
Where's Brissett at?
He didn't play last night.
Is he hurt? Anything?
I don't know. He didn't play. I guess they want to look at Rosen. Rosen went 6 for 7.
Yeah.
Dobbs. Of course.
Besides Deshaun Watson, they went 16 of 23.
Rosen is the top 10 pick in that draft where Mayfield and a couple others went, and like he's bouncing around. He can barely make a football team.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just one of those. You see that. It'll happen. But they say the arm. Like people are impressed. Like he can throw it through a brick wall. But I don't know if it's between the ears or what. I'm telling you, you're playing against guys that are going to be delivering Domino's pizza next week.
Ken, last week we talked about how some of the guys are in their contracts don't play video games in it. You got to watch the game tape. Is that not the most insane thing?
It's amazing you got to put that kind of stuff in here nowadays.
It's just not the same. I mean, it's like people aren't the same as they used to be. I mean, when you played ball, it's like we were talking about earlier with the Legion ball. If you're on the team, then you're on the team.
Yeah.
I mean, and now that mentality is, well, it's time to play. I might play a little bit, but Call of Duty's got a new edition out. I'm going to sit around and play that for 8 hours a day. And I have seen this younger generation do that. And they come into school, can't stay awake.
Oh, they can't stay awake
because they've been up to 2 o'clock in the morning playing them stupid video games.
They can't focus on schoolwork, but they can focus on them playing those games.
I just can't believe the number of parents that allow their children to do this stuff, and that's why as young adults are still doing it. I mean, you're 23, 24 years old, you're still playing video games. I mean, I quit. We've already had this discussion.
Yeah, we have.
But I don't.
Once you're getting paid with commas in your contract, that's probably about the time you should probably
several commas.
Stop.
Not one. There's a comma in my contract.
Right.
But there's
That's why
only
I said
one.
plural.
There's only
commas.
Well, you was talking about bench pressing, and Kevin brought it up again. I sent y'all that last week, 1,273 pounds. Jimmy Knob, bench press. That's all he does. He's not a football player or anything like that. He's one of the power weightlifters in America.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not sure what you're gonna do.
Just saying. I mean, he's winning little trophies and stuff like that. So I guess that's great.
Does he get a trophy?
Yeah, I guess.
Zach Wilson have an MRI because last season he hurt his knee again last night with a sprained PCL. They said they believe he avoided any damage to his ACL as he walked off the field. In the meantime, Joe Flacco's sitting there waiting to take over anytime now. So we're gonna might have Flacco back in the action there. Let's see. Looks like Baker's ahead in the quarterback competition right now, Ken.
Yeah, he's ahead.
Is there any way you don't think that he's not starting week 1? Because, and a lot of people have pointed this out. Who's getting excited to watch Jacoby Brissett and Sam Darnold?
Nobody. I mean, Baker would be the starter.
Who's going to be excited to watch
starting quarterback
Baker Mayfield against the Browns? That'll be the first thing they show on ESPN.
Yeah. Does he have it only for 1 week?
No, I mean, the coaching staff's fooling around with
Terry,
this. But bottom line, he'll be the starter.
I'll put it. If they start Baker Mayfield, there's no going back to Darnold unless Baker's hurt. No. Because you're making that decision. Like what? Because what if Darnold done the last year and a half that would be like, you know what? We'll probably go back to that guy.
Yeah,
they wouldn't have Baker Mayfield on the team if they thought he could do that.
One of these guys who throws a pick. So about the time he goes out there, Baker, he's like a Tony Romo. He's going to throw a pick sometime in the game.
Well, but
if he steps out there and he throws 2 picks, if he throws 3 picks, he's done. He's not coming back the next game.
Well, he's a little bit more reckless about things, but he'll make some flash plays. Donald, he'll throw picks and not make no flash plays. So that's
yeah. Because a lot of people say, and that's the difference they always brought up. When you got Baker to move, then you got him. Because that's what you want. He's a better pocket passer than he is a runner. When he starts to run, he throws picks.
So is Tom Brady.
Yeah, you say that about a lot of guys. Yeah, you're right.
But Baker will elect to run. Tom Brady will stand there until the last second.
Well, what they're going to try to do is what they did with Baker a lot in Cleveland is you roll him out, which negates a little bit of his height.
Yeah, they'll do some of that.
Now, Ken, you're
negates a little bit of his height.
Sam Darnold has 52 picks in 50 games.
Yeah, now you're a Carolina Panther fan, right?
I am.
Okay, here's my deal for you. You got 2 quarterbacks. One is first and third, I think they was picked. But both of them have losing records. Will Baker make a difference?
Yeah, because he had a bad year last year. There was injuries involved. The year before, he got the Browns to the playoffs. They won a playoff game. He has proven some success. Now, he's had ups and downs. Donald, on the other hand, has not proven in 4 years that he can be a successful quarterback in NFL.
Did he not start 3-0 last year?
He did.
How did he finish, Terry?
But that
That's
was
not the
downhill.
point. Then he got hurt.
He
They
went
didn't
1-7
finish.
down the finish.
Well, I know, but I mean,
What do you
he
mean that's not
started
the point?
3-0.
Well,
he did.
He wasn't that hurt. I mean, he was banged up a little bit.
He went 4-7.
McCaffrey got hurt after 3 games.
Darnold last year went 4-7, 9 touchdowns, 13 picks. Baker Mayfield last year went 6-8, 17 touchdowns, 13 picks.
The other thing I see, Terry, is Baker Mayfield, he sort of commands things out there. The players seem to see that he's in charge. You don't get that with Darnold. You don't get that. I don't see the other
Is
players.
McCaffrey healthy right now?
Yeah, he's healthy. We'll see if he stays healthy.
I think the main thing with you guys is the defense. That's most teams is if McCaffrey's healthy and your defense is playing well, you have a chance to win.
Yeah.
Can you keep McCaffrey from getting hurt?
Probably not.
Well, we'll see.
Because Rule will probably give it to him 35 times.
I mean, that's what I'm talking about. You,
Well,
you cannot do that again. You've done that and it's hurt you.
Yeah, I don't think he'll carry it as much.
Cardinals beat the Bengals with new quarterback Kyler Murray calling plays as the coordinator. Jets beat the Eagles. Packers lose to the 49ers. Today, Chiefs and Bears, Panthers and Redskins, Colts and Bills, Seahawks, and Tommy, see who that is down the hall, please.
All right.
Seahawks and Steelers, Dolphins at Buccaneers, Saints and Texans, Cowboys and Broncos, Rams, Chargers. No. All right. So we're live on the radio right now. So let's see. Falcon. Falcons. I lost my train of thought where I was going. Oh yeah, Vikings and Raiders play Sunday night football. I don't know what's going on there.
The Panthers game is at 1 this afternoon. It's not a night game.
Now Dallas, they played it
DC.
late today.
So
Super Bowl gets started today.
I'm
Kevin?
looking. Ken, I don't see Sage Trout's name listed on the depth chart for the Rams. You heard any news
was it
on
the
that?
Rams or was it Raiders?
I thought he signed with the Rams.
I was thinking it was Raiders. I could be wrong.
You don't know that one either.
Well, okay. I can recall. I know they signed him, I guess, as, 1 to 90, but
Yeah.
I don't know whether he's got even listed on the chart anywhere.
All right, real quick, any other college football, any other things we want to touch on before we get out of here? I kind of got time away from us a little bit. NASCAR this weekend on KTC Broadcasting. We will not have because of the American Legion World Series, so we'll skip over that part for that. So, the college football news and notes, anything changed? I know I haven't been paying attention to anything going on in that. Terry, Nick Saban whining about anything right now?
No. He's calm. Yeah. And one thing about NASCAR, if you're talking about, you got 15 out of 16 winners now. So there you go.
Think you might get a 16th.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And could it leave Martin Truex?
It's going to leave
and Blaney out?
One of them's going to get
Tom,
left.
either the second place or fourth place guy in the standings will not be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Think of it.
That's amazing.
Getting ready to happen.
Well, is what it is.
You know what you got to do. That's right. You know what you got to do, buddy.
You know the rules.
Win.
You knew the rules. The rules.
Well, Terry is you talked a little bit about last week about Kyle Busch. He says they're trying to get him in the ride, but basically he'll take a pay cut from Gibbs, but like he wants his $25 million M&M contract, and that's the issue that we're looking at. And so, what do you, and I think this is a lot with Johnson too. He lost his big Lowe's sponsorship, and then how weird of a sport it is that you can't get a sponsor for Kyle Busch, but all these other teams have sponsors, and whether or not it's M&M's or $25 million, They've got to find some type of different way, different system, different something. You shouldn't have to run. I think they ran Jimmy out so he wouldn't win 8 championships, so they could sit there and promote Dale and Richard and all them. But as far as, these guys not being able, there's no way Kyle Busch shouldn't be able to get a sponsorship, right?
There should be no way. I mean, because there are people in this world like Kyle Busch, either win or do you get nothing or take your second place and trash it.
Right.
There are people like that in this world. And Kyle Busch is one of them. And, there should be some sponsor out there that thinks the same way he's doing. I'm going to be number one no matter what it is, and I'm going to go get this guy because he thinks like I do. So, whether he gets the Gibbs, and I know that's probably going to be a deduction, well, as he keeps saying that, and that's fine. But you got to give him somebody. Some sponsor's going to back him. I don't know who it'll be, but somebody will.
This week, Ken, I know you're not involved in our group text, and you should thank God you're not.
I know Kevin
Terry
and
sends some
Tom and
things
Zach, I'm telling
that
you.
are just outrageously ridiculous.
Sometimes I just ignore it because it's just I'm being trolled at like 9:30 at night by Zach.
He'll send a text asking, "Have the Browns ever won a Super Bowl?"
Yeah.
It's been a quarter of a century, Ken, since the Cowboys have.
Wait a minute.
A quarter of a century.
Ken, when you hear that, what am I supposed to send back? Y'all have not even spit on the field.
Quarter century, Terry.
Y'all have never even
You do realize a lot of the Cowboys players are not even born the last
The
time
only
they won
way
a Super
y'all
Bowl.
get there, Tom, is y'all buy a ticket.
East Germany doesn't even exist anymore.
Y'all set up in the stands to watch.
Well, I'll say this: the Browns they're going to waste the rest of their roster talent on this clown show move they've made, and it's just
they're going to waste the Chubb years.
Well,
is what
if
they're
we-
going to do.
we
It's
said
the
it-
Nick Chubb years you're wasting.
it's done.
You're going to have
said
a
it-
lot of memories
it's
of Nick
done.
Chubb being awesome.
Nick Chubb was really good. And we went 8-8 every year because
And then
we
you got
sold the
players
farm
who's
for
wanting out.
a quarterback who's one step ahead of the sheriff. I mean, God Almighty.
So, I do have in my hand the last playoff win for each of these teams, every NFL team. And I didn't make the point to Terry, Ken, not only have they not won a Super Bowl in 25 years, they ain't won a playoff game this decade. Now, I'll ask you, Ken, you're not a Cowboys fan, but as a Cowboys fan, should you be happy you stabbed Romo in the back to put this guy in, and 6 years later, he's still got the same number of playoff wins as Tony Romo?
No, you shouldn't be
Actually,
happy.
less wins than Romo. Well, Romo's got more wins. He still doesn't have more. I mean, he's got the same number of wins as Tim Tebow
Well, you can't be happy because
and Baker Mayfield.
the Cowboys' expectations are always so large, but they always fall short. So, no, you can't be happy.
Terry, who's going to win Super Bowl this year?
Dallas.
There you go.
You're right. You can't do it.
Because we never go
Ken.
into a year thinking we're not going to.
And you've been wrong for
And the
26
same
straight
thing-
years.
That's all right.
The same thing has happened every year for the
How
last
about
30
this?
years.
Can we take baby steps? Let's start with this. Who's going to make it to the NFC Championship game, Terry?
Dallas.
Okay. Baby steps. They ain't done that in 25 years. Let's not go win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Let's
They ain't
just
even won the
make it
division.
Wait a
Let's
minute.
just
Philadelphia,
make it
Philadelphia or
away. Can y'all
Washington
even-
to
might
the
win that
NFC
division.
Championship
All I know
game.
is if you walk in Dallas, they got 5 of them trophies sitting up.
All right, let's play quick
5 of them.
trivia.
Only 2 other teams have more. So out of all this 25 years, y'all say we've done nothing. The rest of the league can't even catch us.
So, okay, only 2 teams have not won a playoff game since the turn of the millennium. Do anyone want to make a guess on the 2 teams?
I've not won a playoff game.
Well, no,
A
now
playoff?
it's just one. Now it's just one. It's changed this year. Only one team.
Detroit.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Terry, who's the team they beat?
What's that got to do with anything? What's that got to do with
1992.
anything?
1992, Detroit Lions, Dallas Cowboys. Miami Dolphins haven't won a playoff game since 2000. Raiders 2003. Redskins 2006. Bears and Jets 2011. Giants 2012. Panthers, Cardinals, Broncos 2016. It's been 6 years since the Broncos won a playoff game. Wait a minute, was that to say that's the year they played each other Super Bowl?
Well, it was.
Because the Panthers
It
ain't won
was.
since that year.
Yeah.
So
it's
neither
same.
one of those teams
had been
have won a playoff game.
since that successful year. Yeah.
How much money could I have won off someone, Ken, if I'd have bet you the night after that Super Bowl,
you wouldn't be back.
That neither one of these teams with Peyton Manning and Cam Newton sitting right there would never win a playoff game in the next 6 years.
Yeah,
well, everybody knew.
Everybody knew.
Yeah, but surely it's the Denver Broncos. They might accidentally win a playoff game.
Oh, they'd have bet you on Carolina though.
Yeah,
for sure.
Jaguars and Falcons in 2018. Cowboys. Now, some of this, like I said, this was from last year. So some of these might have won a playoff game last year. Cowboys, Colts, Eagles, Chargers, and then Patriots in 2019. So there's your last ones that hadn't won it in this decade. There was one I was about to say. Oh, Colts. I did see a lot of people happy about Matt Ryan in Colts camp, by the way. All right. Any other news and notes before we get out of here, guys? Fun times.
Oh,
sorry,
get out to the series if you don't listen on KTC Broadcasting. Thank you, Shelby Heating and Air. One more time, 704-487-7877 for all your heating and air needs.
We'll see you next time, ktcbroadcasting.com. I did have something.
Incredible man, I only do things incredible can. Cause I am the seed of a chosen breed. You don't see too many like me. Cause I am one of the reasons you do what you do when you wanna be me instead of you. Cause I